Good morning, I'm Isaiah Jacob. Last night, the Denver Broncos and Buffalo Bills went into an overtime thriller with the Broncos escaping with a 33-30 win. But that did come at a price as QB Bo Nix fractured his right ankle and will be sidelined for the rest of the postseason. The late-night game got out of hand quick as Seattle rolled the 49ers 41-6. And then today, postseason play continues as the Houston Texans travel to take on the Patriots at 3, while the Chicago Bears host the LA Rams at 6:30. In other NFL news, former Cleveland Browns head coach and two-time NFL Coach of the Year Kevin Stefanski became the new head coach of the Atlanta Falcons yesterday afternoon. Stefanski went 45-56 in 6 seasons with the Browns. Yesterday in men's hoops, Ohio State got back on track with an 86-74 win over UCLA. And Cincinnati had the upset of the day over number 2 Iowa State 79-70, just the second loss for the Cyclones on the season.
Live and local, it's time for Fan Sports Sunday. If the weekend is a big desert for sports talk, think of this show as an oasis.
Yes, here we go.
Come drink from our pool of hot takes as you quench your thirst with. I thought I was going somewhere, but I'm not. So let's just start the show.
We're starting the show on a Sunday. Bartemes, Dane Sanzenbacher, Isaiah Jacob is the combination today. It's a new cast of characters every single time. We're getting situated. We got the big headphones heist of January 18th.
What?
Headphone. One just snapped off.
No,
Are we okay?
No, Adam King broke this months ago.
Look, I have no problem blaming Adam King for everything.
Instead of throwing it away, I took it home because I'm like, there's usually a set of headphones in here that's like the community one that I will use. But on the off chance that it disappears, I need to have something. Mm-hmm. So I always bring this. And this is just what we've come to today, I guess.
We have a headphone.
I need to invest in them, but...
Now, look, like I said, I have no problem blaming just Adam King for whatever we want. But we are... I don't even know how to describe it. You look like you should have, like, the mouthpiece extended from...
Isn't it distracting?
You look like a coach. You have, like, the one earpiece, and... Now we just need the extension that has the microphone so you can call plays for your quarterback into his helmet.
No, I did this. This is all a metaphor for where we're at in college football. That's why I did this.
Okay. Because people are only half listening or something?
Or half in it.
Half in it? I don't know.
Or half. Yeah, no.
But it's funny. All right, so we were talking before the show started because we're actually at a great point. Because I put a bunch of stuff in the show sheet today, a bunch of football topics that we'll get to throughout the show. We got you 11 to 2 here on 97.1. Appreciate you tuning in wherever you are, wherever. Thank you very much. Check us out on YouTube, by the way. But
well, then you're going to see my headphones.
Yeah. Well, hey, if you angle, that's your camera over there. So if you can angle it so they don't see. Exactly.
Yeah, but then I'll have to.
So what's your good side? We'll try to get your good side on the camera.
All right, no.
But I'll put a bunch of stuff in the show sheet. And we're looking over it, and we're just getting pissed off reading all these topics because we got a bunch of stuff to talk about with college football. We'll primarily lean on college to start. We'll get to the NFL later on. Great playoff game in the first one with the Bills and the Broncos. Absolute blowout in the second one. We'll get to all that later. But I'm deciding to take a positive angle because I'm thinking, like, what am I even going to say to start? Because I wanted to hit the transfer portal stuff and all the news. We have more Buckeyes going to new locations, more Buckeyes now coming in to Columbus. And I'm just like, I just read all this stuff. I don't even have the words. I just see it. I'm just like moaning and groaning. Just like, what are we even doing? Just like.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be just me because I was reading this when you sent it over. And I'm like, man, all right, my focus today, I'm going to stay positive.
Well, that's the funny thing is because like doing this with a former player, I have a lot of like non-pro player takes, and I'm like, I don't want to sound like insensitive and sound like a jerk to Dane.
No.
Okay, well, great. Then this is going to be awesome.
No, this will be great. I will work to try to find some positive in here because it's in there. It's in there somewhere, but this is just such an epic shift, and you can't help but like.
Right.
You know, off seasons are always one thing, but we're in an unprecedented time of, transfers, what that even means, and it's forcing a lot of people to look at their like fandom and like look at it as like, wait, what is it?
Exactly.
What is shifting here? Like this is what, and that's what I'm trying to do myself. I'm like, why am I so mad if these transfers are happening?
I know.
Why does this bother me? But I think a lot of people are at that point.
Well, I'll answer your question for you. Well, shoot, all right, I was trying to start positive. I guess we'll have to get to that in a second. But you walked us down a perfect path of like, why does this bother us? I think I can at least partially explain it. Both you guys feel free to jump in, and maybe some contributors out in the great beyond can hit us up on the YouTube chat with their own thoughts too. But in the old school, not that everything has to be like it was in my childhood. I'm like everybody else. Whatever the way the world was in my childhood was the best because I associate that with memories of like freedom and no responsibilities and all that stuff. So that's great.
Insightful. Some deep psychology there.
Thank you. Spent a lot of time thinking about this. But it used to be that you felt like fans felt like they were a part of the team in the sense, especially in college where it's like a lot of people, not me because I'm a Notre Dame fan and none of us went to Notre Dame, but in most fan bases, it's a lot of fans who went to that school, who walked the same halls, walked the same campus, had season tickets when they were there, was at every single home game, all that stuff, partied at all the same college bars and stuff like that. So you felt like those guys on the field were the football embodiment of you. You felt like they were representing you. You felt like, hey, in another life, if I were better at football, that could have been me. Like they were a part, like you were a part of the team. They were a part of you. They were just like the best, most athletic representation of you. But we are at a point now with how popular the transfer portal is. And I can defend the players later and I'll stick up for them a little bit. But we're at a point now where I don't think it's unfair for the fans to feel like they're more committed to the school than the actual players are. Are the fans the ones who are showing up on, Monday through Friday, probably the weekends too, all throughout the summer at 6 a.m., going and working out and running stadiums and throwing up and lifting weights and all that? No. Okay, the college kids who are just regular-ass students are spending their summers either working a summer job or sleeping in. So they're not doing all that all the players are doing. The players are obviously more invested with the physical toll. They have to wear that. But if you're the fan and you're seeing a bunch of examples, I'll list you 4, okay? James Peoples is one. James Peoples is transferred from Ohio State to Penn State. I consider those rivals. I know that some Ohio State fans wouldn't because they like to disparage Penn State and they hold Michigan in a certain regard, but I still think that's an important rivalry. Ty White is a cornerback from North Carolina. He just transferred to North Carolina State. There's an offensive tackle who just went from A&M to Texas. There's a receiver who just went from Louisville to Kentucky. It honestly looks like people don't even care where they play anymore. And that's why fans feel like they care more about all this than the players do. And I don't think they're wrong for that.
No, it's you kind of you hit the nail on the head on many times. I think what we're just watching is the shift from a team sport to an individual sport. And what I mean by that is the NFL has already done this. When we look at NFL players, you have an affinity for a team, right? But you don't hold players to that same standard. You like the team, but when you're looking at things, it's like how many Super Bowls did Peyton Manning win? Didn't really matter with who. Like you look at it on an individual level, and we accept that they're all looking out for themselves. Now there's contracts and that system is built tight, but it is an individual sport. Now college was always team. It wasn't really like the person transferring. Like I can't imagine thinking about a quarterback and like how many national championships did that quarterback win at different schools.
Exactly.
We're at a time where that's not that far off. If you have a junior that wins a national championship and he's a quarterback, now he might get paid a pretty penny to win, but maybe he cares about being on a good team. Maybe his team's not coming back next year, and he makes that transfer. Now you're thinking of the awards individually. So everything about the college game right now is turning to individuals. That's why, the fans are the team. It's baked in. Fans aren't going to jump ship right now. They grew up. They have this team. Maybe they went to that school. But you're at a point where, Lane Kiffin's looking out for himself. And I should say this. I don't blame the individual moves. I don't even blame, in Lane Kiffin's example, the rationale for why he did what he did. The system is set up in a way that you have your incentives, and here's what they are. And so, if that's what it's going to be, because I think you guys talked about it. I watched some of your clips. You guys do good work, Cole.
Thank you. Rothman and Ice, we are on noon to 3, Monday through Friday.
Yeah,
I'm going to start putting Fan Sports Sunday promotions into those commercials and those breaks.
Yeah, my wife was showing me one of your clips. You're a smart guy. And so you guys are talking about,
early offense from me.
The other pressure of, okay, but the teams are not going to wait for next up within the roster. You talk about transfers, and it's never been before that you have to worry about where you are in the pecking order as a whole. Who's coming in to take my spot? So if you're James Peoples, like, all right, I'm next up. Well, the team doesn't care if you're next up. They're going to try to replace you. And it used to be acceptable. Sure, you're going to recruit the best guys to replace me. Every year you knew that in college, especially at Ohio State. You're going to go get 5-star guys. Their job is to either replace me or work their way up the order. Well, that has changed. So that from that level and that pressure on a player, I can't all the way blame them either. I don't know where to place it. It's just the incentives are set up now that it is moving. The individual is the important thing.
I know.
The individual, if they're posting where they're transferring to, what their family needs, and these are all good. They're fine and defendable positions. It's just a huge shift from when it used to be you were at a team and you're going down with the ship. Oh, well, I was at Michigan during the Rodriguez era. Well, okay, that's just what you were. It's really hard for fans to get behind and look at this thing and say, like, okay, why does this feel different? But it just does. What am I rooting for?
I'll tell you why. And you brought up a good point. We could talk more about like the player's perspective and the coach's perspective, but we're just watching greed. Greed is not an attractive quality. Like, I get it that these are real people's lives and stuff like that. And so, and my original stance was always just, treat college athletes, like as far as like what benefits they can and can't get, just treat them like regular college students. Like, when I was a regular college student, if a local car dealership wanted to pay me to be in their commercial, I could do that. So I have no problem with these guys getting paid. Like, that's all good with me. If someone wants to pay them, that's all fine. They can do whatever endorsements they want. I'm not trying to like get in the way of that. But it has gotten to a point where that's like all we're watching. And it's unfortunate because we do this job, and so like we follow this stuff, and this is like more privy to we're more privy to this than maybe some are. Because like if you wanted to tune it out, you probably could. But when you see Dylan Raiola transferred from Nebraska to Oregon and not even care that he's going to be a backup and just accept that role, that's weird.
It's weird.
And his dad had 2 contracts with the Lions. He didn't grow up poor. Like, and I get it, look, man. It's hard to say no when millions of dollars are in front of you, and easy for me to say because those millions of dollars are not in front of me. So I don't blame, like you, I don't blame people for taking advantage of a position that they were in a system that is presented to them, because it is a faulty system. At the same time, though, it's not fun to watch. But here's the good news. It's over, okay? The transfer portal, the window is closed, that there are still a lot of players in the portal, but nobody else can rejoin. So as far as who's out and who's in, that stuff's already settled. So we have the positive spin coming up next. Stick around, Fan Sports on the Fan.
A lot has changed in 30 years, but we're still that old shoe that feels worn in and well-loved. And, well, we smell a little, but you've accepted that. The Fan.
At Great Lakes Hyundai, the savings are so good.
Don't start the new year with the same old ride. Right now, score low lease payments on all 2026 models, like $149 a month for a brand new Elantra or $159 for a new Sonata. Hurry in and kick off the new year right. Columbus or Dublin or glexhyundai.com. With proof credit $39.95 down plus tax, title, and fees. 2-year lease with 10K miles per year. New Hyundais come equipped with owner assurance and America's best warranty. A 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage. Ends 2-2.
Listen up, football fans. You won't want to miss this.
Right now, new Bet365 customers bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. So you could turn that $200 into something bigger when you bet on money line, spread, totals, player props.
$200 in bonus bets when new customers bet $5. I know where I'm going to bet from now on. Download the app today and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply. In-app only.
While serving in Vietnam, a grenade took my ability to see. Today, I'm a sculptor. Now, my fingers are my eyes. I'm Michael Naranjo. As a veteran, I know the challenges of life can be great. In my art, turning a lump of clay into something beautiful, that is worth doing. Life is like that. We each must use what we can to make things better.
DAV helps veterans like Michael get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year in life-changing ways.
Now, I show others how they can create something with their own hands. I know it can do a lot of good. With support from DAV, more veterans can shape their lives into a thing of beauty. My victory is bringing beauty into the world.
Michael Naranjo, may your victories inspire many more. Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Ms. Fernandez, what are those tiny things?
Those are what we call amoebas. You can only see them through a microscope.
Wow.
Today's students are tomorrow's great thinkers and innovators. But right now, there's a funding crisis in public schools. Millions of kids go to schools that don't have funding for books, computers, and so much more just because of where they live. You can help change that. Donors Choose is a nonprofit that lets you support students and teachers in your community and beyond. You choose which supplies to support. You could provide first graders with pencils and paper, or other students with their first chapter books, help a music class get a guitar.
You could even supply a classroom like mine with a science project. But what you're really giving is the moment that sparks a brighter tomorrow.
To learn more, please visit DonorsChoose.org. That's DonorsChoose.org. Choose students. Shape the future.
Rockman and Ice.
If I gave somebody my number and they called me, I'm out. I don't know you like that. You don't need to be calling my phone. We can text.
Rockman and Ice. Weekdays at noon.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus.
The Fan.
I slept in a lot of different rooms, different beds, but none of them really felt like mine. I spent 14 years in foster care, mostly in group homes. And I never had much stuff because I always had to be ready to move. Why get things if you just have to let them go?
There are more than 100,000 children in foster care waiting to be adopted. The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption is working to help find them a forever family and a permanent home of their own.
Now I have my own room with walls that tell my story. I love hanging out in here. I play dress up with my sisters and I sing and make videos. But the best part? Knowing I'll always have a place to go and a family that loves and supports me.
If you have room in your home or your heart, see how you can help at davethomasfoundation.org.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on a dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
It's going to be a chilly one for us today with high temperatures in the low to mid 20s today. We'll have a mix of sun and clouds and wind chills staying in the teens for the most part. It'll be blustery with gusts up to 20 miles an hour. Some areas of light snow are possible overnight. Looks like less than an inch. Not a big impact there, but heading into Monday, it is going to be a cold one. Temperatures fall through the teens throughout the day with a gusty wind up to 30 miles an hour with any light snow ending early. I'm meteorologist Justin Gertz with your 10 weather impact forecast.
We test marketed naming the show A Guy and His Butlers.
Oh, that is very touching.
But we thought Bishop and Friends had a better ring to it.
Weekday mornings at 9.
The Fan. We firmly believe it's appropriate to tailgate before a youth soccer game. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
Yeah, Bartemes and Dane Sanzenbacher, sorry. My bad.
Close enough.
Yeah. I got a difficult last name, too.
Yeah,
so.
Bartemes.
I don't even correct people at this point.
Bartemes?
Yeah.
Bartemes?
Bartemes. There are a few people.
I know what it is. I'm just giving you options.
There are a few people who thought my last name was Martinez, as in like the Latin last name.
I like that.
But what's up, Zeke? How's it going over there?
Pretty good. I like Martinez.
Dude, so when I was in St. Louis doing radio for a couple of years before I moved back home, so there was a guy who was a listener. Like, all my friends were listeners. Like, there was one group of friends that I had, like, I didn't hang out with them a ton, but like once every couple months I'd hang out with them, and they were like primarily dudes who listened to the show who were like about my age. But there was one dude, his name was Hockey Bob. He always called in and talked about some hockey game we didn't care about, and we would make fun of him, he'd make fun of us and stuff like that. He's just, I don't know, he was one of those dudes who like knew the hosts of the show, and so like he kind of like he had his own shtick, I guess was his thing. But he was an Uber driver. And so I got his number, and like he was always my go-to Uber driver for like airports, or like if it was like super late at night and all the other Ubers were like $80 getting home.
You'd call a specific Uber guy.
I called I had my guy Hockey Bob. He would take me home on the cheap.
And you were Martinez.
And I'm in his back seat one time. He's taking me to the airport because I would always fly home for like the holiday, like 4th of July or something like that. So I'm in the back seat of his car one time, and you know how every Uber driver like has their phone propped up like right by the steering wheel? I'm looking at his phone, and it says Cole Martinez. This is like 2 years into knowing him. I'm like, Hockey Bob, you think my last name is Martinez? And he's not the first, but
yeah, but you guys aren't like best friends, right?
No, but he listened to me every day on the radio.
Bartemes is really close to Martinez.
Yeah.
And maybe Hockey Bob's audio system in his car was a little bit questionable.
Well, we're on the AM, so it was definitely questionable. I promise you that. It was all fuzzy and scratchy. So, yeah, you know what? I'll give him a pass. And, you know, we beat him up all the time, but he was good. But, yeah. So
I had an airline ticket printed for me one time that said Sanzenbacher.
So wait, an airline ticket? You got to do all that stuff online now.
No, well, this was back in my day, Cole.
Oh.
Back in my day, you could get it printed right there.
You're not that much older than me. Well, actually,
yeah, I am. I'm 37.
I'm almost 27.
All right, well, that's cool. It's a decade. A lot happened. No, this was, I forget what it was.
You know what?
The situation was actually flying to, you know what? I think it was actually flying to the Senior Bowl. It was in college. I got a late invite and had to fly down there. And
oh, really?
The person at the ticket counter happened to be the mom of a friend of mine. And so she was trying to make an adjustment with the ticket, so she was doing it behind line. So yes, I would have had to type it in. Something got fat fingered on the ticket, but it was an all time. I've had a lot of misses. That was the first one that was that bad.
I'm trying to look up who would have been on this roster with you. So this would have been in 2011.
2010 season was my senior.
But that would have been the 2011 Senior Bowl. Either way.
2011 Senior Bowl, yeah.
I'll work on that. We'll dig up some Senior Bowl. We have a lot of people here who went to the Senior Bowl. There are probably some great stories.
Like who was on the Senior Bowl team with me?
Yeah. Who's in your wide receiver room? I remember, so apparently DeVere didn't have a good Senior Bowl. I don't really know. But he was like making up these excuses like, yeah, man, every single ball was thrown differently. And like each quarterback had their own release and it was just hard to pick up the spin. He said he had a great week of practice, which is good. So, you know, you can.
I don't know how much it even does anything. I mean, I had a great week and I didn't get drafted.
Well, here's what I've heard though, and from athletes on podcasts, not like people telling me, but I've heard athletes on podcasts talk about like once you get to the end of the draft, it actually almost becomes a little bit preferred to not be drafted because then you can kind of pick your destination instead of your destination picking you, and you can kind of like map out, okay, which wide receiver room fits this, where can I fit in, and so.
In a way, but like
was your agent selling you on it? Like, hey man, this is a good thing. Don't worry about it.
No. Well, yes, he was saying that, but in practice, it's like you would still almost rather have a team that you already knew kind of liked you. Even if you get taken in the late rounds, somebody in that building is at least behind you enough for them to spend a draft pick on you. So yeah, when you're picking and choosing, you can look at what seemed to be quote unquote light receiver rooms in my situation. But in reality, what is a light NFL receiver room? Everybody there is a killer.
Apparently,
and you're undrafted. Yeah. So it's like, oh yeah, no, I'm going to squeeze right into this one.
One that just drafted AJ Green, apparently.
No, I was started in Chicago.
Oh, you went Chicago, then Cincinnati.
So it was, we brought in Roy Williams on his like last years from Dallas, but then it was Devin Hester, Johnny Knox, Earl Bennett. Guys that were solid. I mean, it wasn't like you weren't going to crack it at all, but you're still going to cling on as a sixth receiver. So, yeah, in theory, I would have rather been drafted because at least you have somebody that's there. Somebody in the building doesn't want to be wrong. So, some scout, some person in the building stuck their neck out to say draft this guy, and they're going to have some kind of whisper in the ear. You don't want to have your draft pick cut, right? So even if you're a seventh rounder, I would still do it.
Because that's their resume.
Yeah.
All right, so I was on your Wikipedia page last night, and I saw this.
Last night?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say right now. Last night's a little different.
Well, and right now.
Okay.
But what you just said about the receiver room reminded me about Chicago, about what is said here about the second year in Chicago. Because you had 2 years in Chicago, 2 years in Cincinnati. And I was like, man, they really threw just the kitchen sink at my boy Dane over here. It says, Sanzenbacher's spot on the team was initially in doubt for the 2012 season after the Bears acquired Brandon Marshall, Alshon Jeffrey, Eric Weems, and Rasheed Davis. However, Sanzenbacher would eventually make the 53-man roster as the sixth receiver. So there you go.
Grinder, Cole.
Are you a Gruden grinder?
Couldn't get rid of me.
Did you get a Gruden grinder?
Yeah, we drafted Alshon in like the first round. We brought Brandon Marshall in. I was like,
you were a leech.
Good grief. I better make sure I can get out of my lease.
Yeah, apparently they just threw everything. Like, man, we got to really we got to see what this guy Dane's all about here.
Yeah.
So we got to sign 4 free agents here, and we'll sign 3 free agents.
A lot of faith
and
they had, right?
pick.
Right?
Exactly.
They were just like, I think we got something here. Let's completely rehaul, and I guess we'll invite him back to camp.
By the way,
it worked out.
Speaking of Gruden, here's your boy.
How would you like to be the receiver coach at Ohio State? I mean, forget about the guys they got coming out this year. Ted Ginn, Joey Galloway, David Boston, Chris Carter. You want me to go on, don't you? How about Terry Glenn? How about Brian Baschnagel? How about Mike? How about Dane Sanzenbacher?
Whoever Mike was, who he was about to say, he had to cut himself off and be like,
he
wait
cut
a minute.
off Mike and said, wait a second.
Yeah, there's somebody way more important we got to talk about right now. Your boy still remembers you after all these years when he's opening up the Ohio State box with the helmet and all the gear inside.
It's got to be a name thing. I mean, I was a good
You had a
college
good Monday
player.
Night Football game,
I was a
though,
good college player. Yeah, and I had some good preseason game. That was a preseason. I had some good preseason games. The NFL had a solid rookie year, but like the names he was listing off in Ohio State history, I was just like, oh goodness.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Chris Carter?
Yeah,
Big deal or
I was
something?
like, I guess I'm in that. I'm just in his mind. I live there, and I'm fine with that.
Exactly.
That's great. If that's where he wants to put me, thanks, John.
So we had a YouTube commenter one time because Ice was talking about this. And we had a YouTube commenter who I believe said that they believe the origin of that was when Terrell Pryor did the Gruden QB camp.
It was.
And that was the first time that the Sanzenbacher was ever dropped.
Yeah, it was an awkward QB camp that like the whole ESPN segment ended up, for whatever reason, he was focusing
Talking
on
about
me.
you.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, tell me about this Sanzenbacher kid.
Yeah, that was one of the odder moments, I don't know, in my life maybe. I was just at home in my apartment by
That's
myself.
so cool.
Okay.
Oh, well, was it like the spotlight's on me? This is getting embarrassing.
If you're watching, you're home in the morning. You're eating cereal, watching ESPN, as people do. I'm by myself. There's no reason for you to be on the TV, right? If Gruden started to do it, now I know it's different that I was a Ohio State wide receiver at the time, but this was QB camp. We were in the off season, and it had nothing to do with me. And I was like the number 1 or 2 receiver. We're just getting ready for the draft. And then like this segment comes up after like basketball highlights. Starts with Terrell. I'm like, all right, I know him. This will be cool.
See?
And then it shifts to the whole focus of like 4 minutes being on me as I'm by myself with nobody else to like share this
See,
with.
Isaiah, this is the difference. This is the difference between the athlete doing the radio and the person who couldn't make it in sports and is just doing radio. The difference in the mindset. Being center stage is currency for us. We love that. I would have been watching that like, keep going.
Look at this.
What else you got?
I'm on the map.
Play my highlight, brother. They know who I am. I'd be like, this is great. Now, for you, who was established in your career and was like going to the NFL and doing the Senior Bowl and all that stuff, you would have. Well, actually, how would that?
It's not that it wasn't good.
What would
it
the
was
timeline
shocking. I'm saying it was like it
Be
caught
like,
me
oh my
way off
goodness.
guard, and I'm like, this is a surreal moment right here.
I still would have loved it. I'd have been like, keep going.
Yeah, I don't really remember when it was. I think it was
Because
it was
Terrell-
that was what it was. It was before the supplemental draft. It was because Terrell couldn't come back the next year.
Yeah.
Our draft was over, and I was already undrafted, and we were in the lockout because 2011 was the lockout year.
That's right.
So after the draft, lockout went back on. So I actually went undrafted and didn't sign with Chicago until the week of camp. Like you couldn't do anything from the end of the draft till then. So this was that.
Could you have
dead
any
period.
communication with them whatsoever? Like,
No.
could you send them workouts like, hey, I'm still in shape?
No. Couldn't do anything. I mean, there was no like NFL activities going on. So until it lifted, then when it did, it was like floodgates are open. And next day I was in Chicago. Like just had to leave. You couldn't plan. You had to leave my apartment and just pick a team first. I had to pick a team first and then just go. But there was that dead period, and that's when it was. I was just in Columbus training.
All right, more storytelling coming up. And do transfers even know what they're signing up for? We'll be back in 2 minutes. Stick around, 97.1.
Would you enjoy watching a football game if the officials were paid a bonus for every flag they threw? Or a basketball game where the refs got paid for every foul they called? Okay, how about hiring a furnace and AC company that pays its technicians by the number of parts they can sell you? Hi, this is Dennis, president of Care Heating and Cooling, and today, this is how many companies operate. They call it performance pay, and it rewards technicians by paying them more for billing you more. Why is this bad? Because it abuses your trust in a technician to be treated fairly and honestly. At Care, we've been family-owned for 31 years and have always paid our technicians by the hour for repairs. We'll show you exactly what needs to be fixed and why, and give you our low upfront cost before we start. And unlike other companies, our technicians will never be rewarded for throwing more flags. Our Central Ohio-based staff is here for you 7 days a week. Care Heating and Cooling. Book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com or call us at 1-800-COOLING. When you need a company you can trust.
Around the world, Children International and friends like you are giving children in poverty a chance to grow and thrive, to be healthy, to succeed in school, and achieve great things. How do we do it? In the best way possible, by helping ensure access to healthcare, nutrition, and educational opportunities. And most importantly, by empowering youths and their families to get out of poverty and into employment through life skills, computer, and job training. The very tools they need to break the cycle of poverty and build futures full of promise. Because every child deserves a chance to realize their full and best potential. Learn more about how Children International is empowering children and families by going to children.org today. That's children.org.
Catch the latest from the world of Ohio State athletics. Weeknights at 6 on the Buckeye Show. New special guests in everything scarlet and gray. The Fan. Garnish your Bloody Mary with sports talk. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
Bartemes and Dane Sanzenbacher. I'm going to keep flipping the pronunciation of his name throughout the show. Isaiah, how's it hanging?
Doing good over here.
How's the lacrosse team looking up in Johnstown?
We're getting there. We got a long way to go, but we started some practice.
So
pretty good.
Isaiah is the assistant coach of the varsity lacrosse team at Johnstown, his high school.
Yeah, I could hear it with that coach speak answer. He starts with practice.
But
there you go.
Here's the funny thing about it. So I coached 1 year of like freshman high school baseball when my brother was a freshman. So I actually coached my brother. Isaiah coaches with his brother, and both of them played lacrosse in college. And so it's my understanding that last year they were both kind of doing everything and that they were just fighting like cats and dogs every single day, which can be tough. But it seems like this year they have a better dynamic where Isaiah's controlling the offense and his brother controlling the defense.
We need clear guidelines. There needs to be clear power hierarchy. Who's the head coach?
My older brother is the head coach. This is our fourth season together. The initial first year we did it, we were both like kind of like one hand on the wheel. And then second year is when we split everything. So since we split everything, much better dynamic. And it helps the players too. Development's a lot better when you can split up the offense and defense. I can go two separate ways. Before we were doing everything together and it wasn't working. Now it's really working.
So are you like the bad cop for the offensive guy, for like the forwards, and then for the defenseman, you're like the good cop?
Yeah, I definitely play both sides. When defensive players ask me questions about defense, I just say, you got to go ask Levi. Go ask Coach Levi. That's not me.
Coach, are you Coach Isaiah?
Coach Isaiah.
There you go. Lovely. So we were talking about that you were in the Senior Bowl. So here are a bunch of the receivers who you played with. Any who we might know. Niles Paul, I know he was a receiver at Nebraska who turned into a tight end in the NFL. You mentioned there were some Boise State cats. We got Titus Young and Austin Pettis. So you're right about that. Let me try to find who your quarterbacks that year would have been. Here we go. So Jake Locker, who went in the first round. I think he was, speaking of Gruden grinder, John Gruden, was obsessed when Jake Locker got drafted because he was, this is a guy, if you take off the face masks and play with leather helmets like it's the 1950s, he's going to be your number one pick. Like, he was obsessed with that. So you got Jake Locker. You have your future quarterback, Andy Dalton.
Yeah, that's right.
How about that?
How did I not remember that?
Well, he probably would have been on the other team because it was north-south. So Ohio State was probably on the north team, and TCU probably would have been on the south team, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Although all of these guys look like south. Ricky Stanzi.
Oh, yeah, my boy.
Yeah,
Stanzy. Yeah, Iowa.
If you don't love it, leave it. America #1 or whatever he said at the Orange Bowl. We got Kaepernick. We got Christian Ponder, another first
Well, that's
rounder.
the thing, too, because Kaepernick was on
Nevada.
our team.
Yeah.
And he was Nevada, so I don't know how they split him up.
Depends on how north Reno is in
They
Nevada.
might have just gone blue and red and just faked it.
Maybe, because all these guys are south.
But speaking of, like, you said DeVere, like, was complaining about the different quarterbacks and how they throw it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Kaepernick was trying to put on an arm strength clinic because he was throwing the ball harder than I've ever experienced.
Well, he had that 87-mile-an-hour first pitch at a San Francisco Giants game
Okay,
where he
that
almost
checks
killed,
out
where he almost
because-
killed a cameraman.
I believe that because we were just like warming up on the sideline. Even that, I'm like, dude, I don't even know if scouts are here anymore.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you're
it's-
gonna break my fingers.
It's like, dude, we're just trying to get warmed up. Like, let's get loose.
Yeah, Dalton was the opposite. He was very, you'd call it receiver friendly.
Yeah, you can find that on YouTube. Colin Kaepernick had it was obviously when he was playing for the 49ers. And then he went to the Giants game because, San Fran, and he went through a first pitch. And, dude, he gave, like, everything he had. And I think he may have even gotten drafted to the MLB. This was an era, by the way, where, like, a lot of college quarterbacks were, like, pro baseball draft picks. And so he was one of them. You also had Greg McElroy. I really like Greg McElroy on TV.
Yeah.
I think Sean McDonough and Greg McElroy are an unbelievable broadcast duo.
Yeah, he does a really good job. I actually ended up playing with Greg for a minute. He was on our practice squad at Cincinnati.
Okay.
So I knew him there, too.
And then Marvin Lewis was actually the coach of the North team.
You know
so he
what?
was scouting you then. He's like,
I think
when the Bears get him after he's undrafted, I'm going to get him after that.
when they cut him on Christmas Eve on week 17, that's when we're going to be waiting in the weeds. No, I do think that helped. Now that you reminded me.
Is it 2017? 2012.
No, yeah, 2012, like week 17.
Oh, week 17, my bad.
We needed a safety, and I did not play that position. So they said, okay, we don't need a 6 wide receiver. We're going to have to part ways. And Cincinnati picked me up, but I think part of it probably was that I had worked with that whole staff at the Senior Bowl.
Really?
So it was enough for somebody to say, like, okay, let's get him. Yes, I'm remembering kind of, I don't remember who the specific person was or even if it was the same receiver coach, but I was somewhat familiar with the staff.
All right, I want a very honest question. Well, first of all, I got to ask the context of this. So
it's just all about me.
No.
I mean, it's just
been a good interview so far.
Welcome to 3 hours of my life.
Whoa. I am transitioning back on topic here.
I didn't even let you. I'm sorry.
Give me a second.
I'm sorry.
So what
I was getting uncomfortable. That was on me.
Now
you're doing your job.
I want an honest answer, knowing full well that the answer that I'm going to get is probably only going to be half true. If these current rules of college football applied to your era, how likely do you think it would be that you would see it through at Ohio State, where you start as a freshman? You're not starting as a freshman, but like you begin your Ohio State journey as a freshman. You start at the bottom of the depth chart. You got to work your way up. How patient do you think you would have been? It's easy to say now, be like, oh, that's just what we did back in the day. Yeah, but in this new era, where if you want to leave after a year and renegotiate, you can. What do you think your patient level would have been like? Patience level.
It's a very good question, and I think it's hard to take it out of one era and go to the next, because what the norm is what you're going to fall somewhere in there. It would be like the equivalent of what you're saying is like somebody demanding being paid in 2010 and like not playing until they were. Like there would be a radical thing. So to put in this context, yeah, I don't know, man. It's really hard. It was so different. You weren't even thinking about.
Right. It wasn't
an individual thing. I mean, you really weren't. And it was like the thing you described earlier. And I think the cynicism of even that era of college football, and I know a lot of people will say, well, they were just getting paid. Now it's above board. And there's always going to be that like piece of it. Well, it's always been like this, or they've always been making money on this, or even the schools have always been. From my limited perspective, it didn't ever feel like that, though. I think that like narrative is a little bit over, and maybe it's because I played for Tressel, who was also kind of like a one of one in, hey, we're gonna dial this in and make it as focused and team focused and community focused and all the other stuff that bored media people to tears when he was talking about, but it was like every day.
All that Isaiah Jacob coach speak?
Yeah, like it was a clinic in coach speak, but it changed your perspective. Is that like it didn't feel like it was a me thing. So you weren't thinking about transferring. It's like you just already made your decision. This is where we're playing and this is the team we have. Now, if you take out in this world, you're removing that and putting me in one where like, I don't even know that you're recruited. Are we recruiting 3-star receivers anymore? 2.5 star?
Not
unlikely.
Here.
Okay, so
Not here.
we could start by that premise that we might be talking about this at a MAC level.
If we have or an Iowa level, that would have been the second option for you.
That would have been second option. So we were talking. So that's also a different premise. And then thinking like it was, as you and Rothman described, DeVere and I knew, okay, it was a pretty simple formula. Rubisky and Hartline are starters now. Me and DeVere are like 3-4. They're both leaving. Now, you still had to earn it and make it work, but it was the natural progression of like, oh, you actually are kind of waiting your turn to then get to slot yourself in. The coaching staff was the same almost the entire time. Like everybody recruited up. Now you had the one-off, like you get Terrell Pryor, the best recruit in the nation.
Yeah,
he's going to squeeze his way into being a starter by the time he's end of his freshman year.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that type of stuff was going to happen, but it was still on that natural progression. But now if I'm thinking like, okay, if I'm a 3 or 4 receiver now, that tells a 3 or 4 receiver now that I'm 3 or 4 level talent.
Yeah, and
which is like an NFL mindset. You're not waiting your turn at the NFL. If your starters leave at Ohio State and you have a guy that's a 3 or 4 that you thought was just probably at that level, but he's not a top tier, what's saying they're not going to then transfer in the next Hartline and Rubisky, and I'm still 3. Now, would I have done it? Maybe. I'm from Ohio. Like I grew up here. My brother was going to school at Ohio State. My family's in Toledo. So there's difference there. Now, if I lived in Florida, then you start to make it a little bit more about you. But that's the shift. It's hard to put myself there.
I know, I understand. That's like kind of an unfair question to ask, and I get it, but just wanted to get your opinion on that. But the good news is we're done with all of this, okay? We'll update you on which Buckeyes are out because there are some that as much as I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, I'm not so sure. So we'll kind of litigate that next. That's coming up next. Stick around, 97.1.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination. Get Eco.
Hey, Aaron, you know how it seems like everything just moves faster nowadays?
You mean like technology and all those crazy inventions?
Well, our furnace repair buyback program means you can slow down and take your time deciding what to do.
Get Eco.
We act fast so you can plan slowly.
You're right, Jerry. If your furnace fails in the dead of winter, call us. We'll be right there to fix it the day you call.
Boom. We're there. It's fixed.
Get Eco.
But our repair buyback means you still have time to think it over in the warmth and comfort of your toasty warm home.
And if you decide you'd rather replace that old clunker instead of fixing it every year, we'll credit the money you spent on repairs against the purchase of a brand new furnace, up to $1,500.
We act fast so you can plan slowly.
How long have you been working on that line?
Good poetry takes time, Aaron.
Get Eco.
GetEco.com.
Do you suffer from leg pain, leg swelling, varicose veins, or leg ulcers? Dr. Barry Zeta and Dr. Joseph Senta at Ohio Vein and Vascular Polaris are pioneers in the vein and vascular field. Dr. Zeta and Dr. Senta can perform minimally invasive procedures that will get you back on track to a pain-free life. Stop living with leg pain and start the process to healthy living with a free healthy leg screening. Go to loveyourveins.com or call 614-426-VEIN. That's 614-426-VEIN or loveyourveins.com.
You know what hope is? Hope is action. Carving a path forward, even when it's hard.
And kids who still know how to dream. They're the best pathfinders of all.
So at Child Fund, hope means helping millions of children living in poverty worldwide to grow up healthy, educated, skilled, and so all those good things can come true for them. Safe.
And that means safe at home, safe at school, and safe online.
Hope means walking this path together. All of us. Because when we work together, we can do so much more.
That's right. Hope includes you.
Child Fund, because we need each other.
To learn how Child Fund works with children in 23 countries to help them achieve their full potential, visit childfund.org. That's childfund.org.
For 25 years, the Library of Congress Veterans History Project has collected and preserved the experiences of America's heroes. From original letters to oral histories, these first-hand accounts bring history to life, one voice at a time. With over 120,000 stories collected, each reveals the courage, sacrifice, and service of our veterans. But many remain untold. Help our nation reach 125,000. Share a story. Ensure a legacy. Visit loc.gov/vets today.
Common Man has hosted shows with radio royalty, Spielman, Tor, T-Bone, just to name a few. So listen to his new show with Timmy Hall. If man can pull this one off, he's a miracle worker. Common Man and Timmy.
Weekdays at 3.
The Fan.
It's Timmy Hall and AI Common Man. Happy to ring in another year with our friends at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Hey, Mikey, do you want to be a millionaire? Hollywood is the place to do it.
From now until March 25th, you have the chance to win $1 million instantly. And here's something Mikey likey. All new brunch items at the Sportsbook Restaurant and Bar like Biscoff Stuffed French Toast, Country Benedict, or Roast Beef Hash Skillet. Yummy.
Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Bet365 is paying out before the final whistle.
Check out Bet365's unrivaled early payout offer. When you bet on a team to win and they take a 17-point lead, you get paid no matter the final score. Forget the final whistle and start counting that cash. Hold up. You get early payout on parlays, too.
Download the app and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply.
People don't realize that glaucoma is one of the leading causes of blindness.
Because there are often no early symptoms, nearly half of those with glaucoma may not even know they have it until vision loss has occurred.
I was diagnosed with normal tension glaucoma in July of 2020. And what we found out at that point was I had already lost 40% of my sight. And you think it only affects people that are, 75 or older, retired, grandparents, and that's not the reality of it.
I didn't think at all glaucoma was going to affect me because I didn't know of anyone that had glaucoma, no one in my family. When you have glaucoma, you can't get back that sight that you lost. And so early detection and treatment is vitally, vitally important.
Don't miss life's most beautiful moments. Schedule an eye exam today.
National Glaucoma Research, a bright, focused foundation program, offers free resources and tips for healthy vision.
Learn how to protect your sight at stopglaucoma.org.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Weston Air Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Live, local, and still slightly drunk.
I'm not drunk, all right? I just have a speech impediment.
This is Fan Sports Sunday.
Cole Bartemes, Dane Sanzenbacher, Isaiah Jacob.
Did you say Martinez?
Cole Martinez, hola.
Bartemes.
¿Cómo estás? So the transfer portal nonsense is basically done. There are a bunch of players still in the portal, but you are no longer allowed to join it. They had the deadline for that, which is great. So here are, as much as I'm trying to be a little bit positive about this, I'm definitely positive that this is all over. So no one can join in.
We don't need to. Just one of us will be positive at a time, though. So if you're going way negative, I'll try to boost it up a little within reason.
Because we were both talking before the show. We're both like, this is all stupid. What are they doing in college football? And so I'm like, I got to find like some sort of silver lining here. And the silver lining, as we discussed, as apparently your wife saw the clip, which I saw that clip and I'm like, they're posting clips of me now? Like, this is...
I posted that clip. You're welcome.
Thank you, Isaiah. Actually, yeah, you know what? Isaiah's working a lot of social stuff for us, so thank you, Isaiah, for catching that. I would like it to be known that Isaiah clipped that himself. He saw that himself. He clipped it himself. I did not say, hey, man, I think I had a good segment right here.
He texted me the timestamps. He's like, please post this.
Yeah, exactly. Like, hey, man, go through that, 2 o'clock segment. I think I had a good segment that day. But no, didn't do any of that. But we were talking during that conversation about how I've spent a lot of time kind of feeling bad for coaches and understanding how the coaches who got into college football before NIL and transfer portal and all this stuff. How I feel bad for them because they are now in a sport that they didn't sign up for. And so now you have like the Jeff Halfleys of the world who are bolting for the pros because they feel like that's a more comfortable environment, on top of just not having to recruit, which is a huge bonus. So you actually like get some vacation time in the NFL. But you feel like you have an understanding, like the rules are pretty clear, so you know what to expect. That's just a comfortable feeling. However, I will give the players a little bit of credence. So we talked about it, how the players may not even necessarily know what they're signing up for. We talked about it at the beginning of this show, where a player shows up on campus his freshman year. He kind of is able to map out, okay, here's what the depth chart looks like. I'm probably going to be, just working in practice for a couple years. I may rotate in my second year, but probably my junior year is where I'm going to take over that starting spot. So it used to be that you could really map out the trajectory of your career. But now, how are you supposed to feel as a player when you're at one position and you're kind of mapping this out and you know exactly who is ahead of you in the depth chart, except now you don't know who's ahead of you in the depth chart because your coach just fell in love with somebody else at some other school who is putting on-field film together, and your coach is like, man, I kind of like that guy. I like what he's doing. And you're kind of feeling like, damn, coach, like you just brought in a player at my position. I'm thinking that I'm here to develop and I'm trying to become that starter, and you're falling in love with somebody who's already a starter elsewhere, and now I'm just developing for the sake of developing, so I feel like I got to go somewhere. On top of that, even for the guys who were going to play, it's got to be really tough to be that one guy who still holds on to all the wholesomeness of college football, of whatever's left, when all your teammates around you are fielding offers and some of them are going. And there's no Nobel Prize for a player who sticks at one school for 4 years. You get a few people saying, hey, I respect that. Hey, good for you. But like, there's no award for that. And when the award for going to another school is a bunch of money, it's like, how could they not?
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was saying when you asked me to put myself in the mindset of like, what's the shift from 2010 to 2026? And I think you're right. And you don't want to be the last man standing. Like you can't, there's a certain amount of like in that era, you're thinking like you're going to do what is the norm. Most people are going to do what is like, especially at that level, like, and we're talking like if you're 20, 21, and you're a rule follower, let's say, or you're like, hey, I'm a hard worker, I did this, and this is how we've done it. Well, the norm now is exploring your options. The norm now is not like, that would have been weird before. The norm then was you stick it out, you're going to do it, you're going to get your degree, like all the talking points that the NCAA gives you, you're going to, maybe you'll get your opportunity and you'll capitalize on it. The grass is not always greener. All these things might be true. But the norm now, I think, within a locker room, everybody is looking at it, it seems, from, okay, what makes the most sense here? Am I doing a disservice? Is this silly if I stay here and sit just for the badge of saying I went to one place? And when you're getting more and more, there's not even a ton of Ohio ties. Now, there is with our roster, but let's say, don't even use Ohio State, whatever the school may be. Less and less of like, really, the only thing tying me here is this football program. If I'm not appreciated at this football program, what am I doing here? I think that's become the norm, and why I don't. I've never been getting all over players for this. I mean, I don't. You can say it's like selfish, but you just explain the alternative.
I do root against the players who transfer every single year and go to like 5 schools. I root against them actively.
No.
But those players aren't even good anyway, so who cares? Because if they were good, they wouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, there's that. I mean.
All right, here's the good news. Here's more good news about the transfer portal. We freak out about the Iamaliavas of the world and the what could have been if Bo Jackson left of the world, whatever. But the overwhelming majority of transfers, are guys who either aren't on the field or are rotational pieces who will go to other schools and still not see the field or be rotational pieces. So we can freak out about it. I freak out about it. I'm trying to be a little bit positive. But when it comes down to it, the overwhelming majority of transfers are guys who are not like changing the trajectory of programs. for the most part. Now, where I do feel really bad, not that like, look, I don't know anybody who's like a fan of like a group of 5 school, but you can't. It's almost good at the group of 5 level to have teams full of like decent players, because if you have good players, or dare I say really good players, you're for sure losing them. There's no way to compete at the G5 level.
Well, I would say like that's kind of so the overwhelming majority of transfer portal players are not impactful. That's kind of what you're saying.
Yeah.
And while that may be true,
nondescript,
right? But
big word.
If you're taking into account like the actual number of transfer portal players there is, yeah, I mean the overwhelming number of college football players, period, are not quote unquote impactful. I think the bigger point. Oh, I got a point there.
Attaboy.
Oh, first time.
Tony
around
the horn here.
Yeah. No, I think the bigger point is that like why people talk about transfer so much, because a team can absolutely, and all of the teams are absolutely, your success is anymore dictated on your transfer portal performance. So like, yeah, the numbers as a whole, even if you get a couple, like look at any team that was like in the playoff, you can point to transfers. You can point to both the national championship teams right now.
Oh, we'll talk about them for sure.
And so, I mean, while I wouldn't want to get lost in like, because most are not impactful, it is absolutely it is an engine of the sport right now. You know that you have to do well here and get somebody from another team if you were going to compete. So it's well worth unpacking, even if the majority of them are just like, hey, I didn't play here, I'm going somewhere else. The fact that it's the ease of doing it and the impactfulness, it's a huge piece of it. It's obviously looking at this year, it's a big piece of it.
I'll add one more thing. So one of the final players to enter the portal on deadline day, this is at 4:51 p.m. on deadline day, Duke quarterback Darian Mensah entered the portal at the 11th hour. So Darian Mensah is a good football player. He was somebody who throughout the season would occasionally appear in mock drafts in the first round, had a good year at Duke, is probably going to get a massive promotion. Again, to my whole point of like, you can't really build programs at small schools anymore, or at least small football schools anymore, because your guys are going to get poached. So Darian Mensah enters the portal. Here's what he says. He goes, and this comes off as sincere. I think he can even ham it up a little bit more. He says, I'm forever grateful for Duke and the coaching staff. Thank you, Duke family, for everything. This wasn't an easy decision, but after talking with my family, I believe it's in my best interest to enter the transfer portal. I take him at his word. I don't think that he's being greedy. It took him that long to enter the portal, so it was at the very last minute, so I assume that it was a tough decision for him. So I think the evidence is there. Here's what I wish he added, because this would... I guess this would kind of be degrading to Duke, but I feel like he could at least curry favor with the fans if he said this. Either one of two things. Say, look, if you were offered the amount of money that I was just offered, you would leave Duke too. Just say that. Say, hey, I'm getting offered a lot of money and I can't turn it down. I'm sorry. This is tough to do, but I'm sorry. Or you could also say, I'm not going to the draft just yet, and I want to compete for a national championship, and honest to goodness, I don't think I can do it here. I have an offer out there. He probably already has an idea of where he's going. I have an offer out there of where I want to go, and I think that they're more of a competitor for a championship, and I only have maybe 1 year left of college. I want to go for a national championship. Now, would that be a little bit of an FU to Duke? Yes, it would, but honestly, I think it'd play well to the fans where it's just like, hey, man, you're as honest as possible. With all the greed and all the slime, that would be a little bit wholesome. If he just said, look, man, they're offering me a lot of money. I can't turn it down.
I almost think it's assumed. I mean, I think it's
I'd like that they said it.
It's assumed without needing to be said. I would keep it to, hey, thanks. This has meant a lot, but I got to test the waters here. And it was like, okay, we know why he's leaving.
All right, tomorrow night is a huge night in the Sanzenbacher household, except only for one of them, because the other one's going to actually be at the championship game and not the one who's sitting next to me. We'll talk about that next. Stick around, Fan Sports on The Fan.
We are your radio home for the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. We may have a bit of a football problem. The Fan, Ohio Ohio sports destination.
Below freezing? Fire up the grill at Billiards Plus. The grilling season never ends. While you're grill shopping, you'll love browsing Central Ohio's largest selection of pool tables, game furniture, and shuffleboard. Family owned and operated. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Well, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
I love Right Pack Credit Union because they're solution driven. I feel valued as a member.
They're focused on the latest technology and the personal connections.
Experience benefits that go beyond banking with Right Pack Credit Union. Just ask our actual members.
I definitely recommend Right Pack to all my family and friends as a credit union of choice.
Visit one of our Columbus area Right Pack Credit Union member centers near you. Based on individual members' experiences, results may vary.
It may be winter outside, but inside the Ohio Expo Center, it's golf season. The Columbus Golf Show is back for 3 days only, January 23rd, 24th, and 25th. Save up to 70% on golf equipment, accessories, and apparel, even vacation packages. Test the newest clubs, compete in skills competitions for great prizes, and get a free lesson from a PGA pro. Come tee it up indoors at the Ohio Expo Center, January 23rd, 24th, and 25th. For tickets, go to columbusgolfshow.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-444-2013. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-444-2013. That's 800-444-2013. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013.
Hi, I'm Connie Britton. I support Feeding America because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Learn more at feedingamerica.org. Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios, driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning, I'm Isaiah Jacob. Last night, the Denver Broncos and Buffalo Bills went into an overtime thriller with the Broncos escaping with a 33-30 win. But that did come at a price as QB Bo Nix fractured his right ankle and will be sidelined for the rest of the postseason. The late-night game got out of hand quick as Seattle rolled the 49ers 41-6. And then today, postseason play continues as the Houston Texans travel to take on the Patriots at 3, while the Chicago Bears host the LA Rams at 6:30. In other NFL news, former Cleveland Browns head coach and 2-time NFL Coach of the Year Kevin Stefanski became the new head coach of the Atlanta Falcons yesterday afternoon. Stefanski went 45-56 in 6 seasons with the Browns. Yesterday in men's hoops, Ohio State got back on track with an 86-74 win over UCLA. And Cincinnati had the upset of the day over number 2 Iowa State 79-70, just the second loss for the Cyclones on the season.
During weekend programming, pants are optional.
Look at my butt!
However, leather chairs may have been a bad choice. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
And we appreciate you for it. Cole Bartemes, Dane Sanzenbacher, Isaiah Jacob. That's the combination. And we got to keep reminding you because it's kind of just a ensemble cast every single time we get in here. You never know who's going to be in here on the weekend. So we got you. Check us out on YouTube. 97.1 The Fan there as well.
And I left the door open.
That's the second time that you've done that, to be honest with you.
In my defense, that door should automatically... come on. A radio station door should automatically shut, right?
We got some heavy doors around here, man.
I know. Well, that's rule number 1.
All right. Hello, I'm back. All right, so
as we said, we're gluing this thing together on the weekends.
Exactly. We got one headphone Dane over here.
The professional thing would have been, hey, don't mention it, just go close the door. But here we are.
No, we do it live on the air around here. That's how we do it. I don't believe in like doing all these like magic tricks to try to like confuse the audience.
Maybe people didn't know. It's very important that you have this place soundproofed, and I just.
Yeah, the TV people are going to roll in here at some point. They're going to be listening to Adam. Might be rolling in here and might hear us yelling. Yeah, breaking your headphones. Unbelievable. Can't believe that. He's got something for me, by the way. Adam King's going to join us at 1:30 on Rothman and Ice tomorrow. It's Sunday. Rothman and Ice tomorrow. And he's got something for me because he was making fun of me in the post-game press conference of the Ohio State basketball game yesterday. By the way, I want to we'll do the whole Mick Cronin thing later. But Ohio State beat UCLA yesterday, and Mick Cronin didn't necessarily do a post-game press conference. He kind of just talked to the one Los Angeles Times guy there, and it's unbelievable audio. So we'll play that a little bit later. But you were explaining to me the situation, how one of the Sanzenbacher couple is going to the championship game, and the other one, as you put it, said, did not get invited. How does that work?
Well,
great start.
You can start with ticket prices, and then you can go to, if you're going to this game, you better really want it. It's well documented, at least on our pregame show. My wife is a Hoosier. All my family on her side is our Indiana Hoosiers. She grew up in Indiana. So they've been through the thick of it. So obviously, if you can imagine, you've been an Indiana fan for a long time. This year is exploding your brain. And it's doing it to everybody. So when they won last week, then it became like the onslaught of like, how do we find tickets to this game that aren't extraordinarily overpriced? At that point, I know
they're all going to be overpriced.
Well, and I knew my fate on Monday is okay. I got the kids. Have fun, because it's like that's a heavy lift when your dog is not really in the fight. So yeah, I say I didn't get invited.
You can't call in a favor from the brother-in-law who lives down the street. Say, hey,
well, you guys, he's going to.
What?
Yeah, he's going to.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So
I'm holding down the fort.
So
that disrespect
for the whole street, apparently.
Yeah, they're complaining about ticket prices. I was like, it's the best deal was losing in the playoff early. It's been great. So you don't have to pony up.
So you weren't really asked; you were more so told.
No,
hey,
at this point, I know how it goes.
Now I'm single, so I don't really know how. And by the way, congratulations to Isaiah, who just recently got engaged.
Congratulations.
No longer single.
Nice.
I mean, if you were together for 3 years, you weren't single.
I haven't not been single either. Yeah.
I had a very similar situation, too, at the Taylor Swift concert. So my wife got tickets, and this was early on in the Eras tour when they were impossible to get and, like, Ticketmaster broke. She got them for, like, normal ticket prices to a concert, right?
This is the tour that created inflation in Finland.
Yep. Okay, so she had 4 tickets to go to the show when she was in Cincinnati. I think this was, like, 2 summers ago. I can't even remember. I think it was. And
you only would have had one kid at the time. I don't know if that factors in here.
Well, no, we had a babysitter.
Okay.
So, yes, we had one kid at the time.
You now have 2.
Yep. And so me factoring into that was like my place was an expensive place. My ticket was an expensive go. Now, I'm not a huge Taylor Swift fan, but I was like, this will be cool to see, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be the driver for you and your friends. So because we were going to do a day trip. Hotels were crazy. But it was a very similar situation. And by the time we got probably either halfway through, or the amount of times I was told, you know what? Somebody else could have that ticket that would be enjoying this more. And not in like the meanest way, but it's like if I made any comment, there was very much of like, should we have brought you?
You better act right.
Yeah, I was trying my best. I was like, I just can't connect on the level that the stadium
There's
is
some
connecting.
sting in there, though.
And so there was probably a little bit of that dragging along to like, hey, you can go to the Nationals. We can make this work, but like, how much are you going to really... Is this going to be your
cheer?
thing?
You better be cheering.
Yeah. No, I think the absolute best scenario is happening. So she's going with one of her best friends from college. So they're doing, and she lives in New Jersey. So they're just kind of meeting down there, and it's kind of like a college reunion trip. This is not a thing that I need to insert myself into. So I am fine. It's not that I wasn't. I'm sure I would be welcome if it was something that I really wanted to.
Well,
I more say I didn't get invited to get a rise out of you. I didn't know you were going to put me in a marriage fight when I got home because my wife does listen to every second of the show.
I was just asking. She catches our clips.
So,
I say,
Allie, how'd I do? I backpedaled that as well as I could. Tried to be delicate. I'm sure I'll find out how I did pretty soon here.
I'm more upset for you about the Taylor Swift one, where like you're actively there and she's making you feel like, you shouldn't be here. Like this one, she just told you. At least she was upfront and was like, hey, I'm going, and you got the kids, and I'll owe you. I'll get you back later.
You know what it was? It wasn't even at the time we were at the show. It was afterwards. It was the fact that I wasn't like just in a haze of joy, and that people would ask like how it was, and I would say it was okay. And and her and her sister and their heads would just blow up. Like, what do you mean it was okay? It was the most incredible thing. And I was like, it was an impressive performance, as in like if you went to see like a live, I don't know, like
it's just one of those like
a Disney show or like not
best night of your lives type thing for her.
Without the connection to your like teen or childhood girl emotions to the songs that were out in like the mid 2000s, without that like intense thing, it's just a very impressive show. So I give her kudos. She played until we left. She outlasted us. We left early because it was going on for so long. But yeah, it was like after the fact, I got more of the, you know what?
You know, it's funny.
Somebody would have really liked
your relationship is basically backwards from every single like sitcom relationship where the wife is always the one on TV where it's like, oh, you know, best days of my life, my wedding day, the birth of our children. And then the husband's like, man, this one time I hit a 45-foot putt. Like, you wouldn't believe like that. And then for you, it's like, you know, we got the birth of our kids, we got our wedding day, and for her, it's
like IU National Championship.
Yeah, it's like IU National Championship, and the day I went to a Taylor Swift concert, except my dead fish husband wasn't having enough fun for me, so it was almost not the greatest night of my life, but actually, you know, he was only a little bit of a wet blanket and not a total one, so I was still able to have all the fun, but he should have enjoyed it more. It should also be his favorite day ever.
That's pretty much where it was. I wasn't terrible. I was good enough. I will in her. She would still put Birth of Our Children above those. Okay. She's putting a national championship game much higher than I would.
All right. Well, here's the good news for Allie. I think she is going to see a championship for Indiana. Even so, I still think a lot of people are getting this all wrong, and we'll explain that next, coming up right here on Fan Sports Sunday.
Whatever you're doing right now, just know that Bo Bishop is enjoying a sip of bourbon. Even if this promo is playing in the morning, no judgment.
Ah, sweet morning drinking.
The Fan.
Men, the new year is here, and if you're like many of us, you're ready to improve your health. But if you're feeling low energy, not sleeping well, or not seeing results in the gym, keeping that resolution can be tough. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if those symptoms sound familiar, we can likely help. They often point to low testosterone, and treating low T is what we do. But this year, we're also helping men go further with 4 targeted body composition plans featuring growth hormone peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, and more. Designed to boost energy, support metabolism, enhance recovery, and accelerate fat loss. With our low T treatments combined with our body composition programs, most men notice real improvements. More energy, better focus, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and often a renewed sex drive as well. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or visit tristatemenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Hey, it's Matty Ice. Do you want to start the new year off in style? Well, then my buddies at McDaniel GM Superstore in Marion have just what you're looking for the best price around. You can lease a brand new 26 Chevy Silverado 1500 for just $319 a month for 36 months with only $3,879 due at signing, or you can save up to $14,000 off MSRP if you finance. Terms and restrictions apply. They're just off Route 23 on 95 in Marion, or you can visit McDanielGMSuperstore.com. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
It's been a real journey since 2014. When I first had my injury, I realized that my home was just not working for me and that it was time to ask for help. Homes for Our Troops is really giving me my life back. The shower allows me to go in and turn around with my chair, pull down storage racks, automated door systems, hours of my morning given back to me. Adaptive sports are a huge part of my life, a huge part of my healing journey as well. Homes for Our Troops helped with making sure that I had a home gym so that I can continue to train. This past year, I was able to host Thanksgiving in my home. And it was the first time I was able to have my whole family in one place, and I was able to contribute to the meal. There are a lot more veterans in need, and Homes for Our Troops is going to be there to help them too.
Homes for Our Troops builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans and enables them to rebuild their lives. Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
How's Tommy doing now?
Much better.
You said it was asthma?
Yeah, he started with this cough and then he was wheezing.
That's terrifying.
Doctor said hidden triggers can make it worse. Things like dust, mold, and even pests.
Pests?
Yeah, droppings and allergens from cockroaches and rodents can seriously impact children with asthma or allergies.
I had no idea.
We're making sure our home stays pest-free.
Don't let pests put your family's health at risk. Visit pestworld.org to learn more. A public service message from the National Pest Management Association.
It's a playoff Sunday doubleheader on the Fan. The Texans and Patriots kick things off at 2:30 with the Rams and Bears in the nightcap.
Sponsored by Roosters, a fun casual joint.
Your radio home of the NFL, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey, Max, you look absolutely dashing in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world?
You bet, Daisy. I'm ready as I'll ever be. And might I say, your purple tie really pops with your vest.
Thanks. I almost went with a cape, but didn't want to come across as pretentious.
Nonsense. Anyone in our line of work should rock a cape.
You might be onto something, Max.
Phew, so here we go. First day on the job. We've got this, right?
Right. Don't forget, we both graduated from Dogs Inc. with honors.
Which means I can guide my human around a busy city with ease.
And I can give my human a restful night.
I hope my human is kind and loving.
And I hope mine likes wet kisses and zoomies.
Ready to make a difference?
Born ready. Let's go.
Discover how extraordinary dogs like Daisy and Max change lives at no cost to the recipients. Visit dogsinc.org.
You know a thing or two about the moments in life that matter. You've seized those moments to embrace joy, accomplish great things, and build meaningful relationships. Is it time now to sit back and reflect on a life well lived? Maybe. Or maybe there's more to be done. Maybe this is the most important moment you've encountered yet. By volunteering with AmeriCorps Seniors, you can seize the moment, lend a hand, and get back more than you give. We connect you to local volunteer organizations with opportunities that fit your schedule and match your interests. Through AmeriCorps Seniors, you can support people in times of need and make your community stronger. You can become a companion to your older neighbors, brightening their days with friendship. You can even become a mentor for young people, serving as a role model and enriching their lives. Are you ready to seize your moment? Visit AmeriCorps.gov/yourmoment and get started today.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
It's going to be a chilly one for us today with high temperatures in the low to mid 20s today. We'll have a mix of sun and clouds and wind chills staying in the teens for the most part. It'll be blustery with gusts up to 20 miles an hour. Some areas of light snow are possible overnight. Looks like less than an inch. Not a big impact there, but heading into Monday, it is going to be a cold one. Temperatures fall through the teens throughout the day with a gusty wind up to 30 miles an hour with any light snow ending early. I'm meteorologist Justin Gertz with your 10 weather impact forecast.
Matty Ice is currently bathing himself in creamy jalapeno dip. And I've officially run out of ways to tease this show. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan. Sports talk, weekend style. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
97.1, appreciate you tuning in. Cole Bartemes and Dane Sanzenbacher, the wide receiver, John Gruden's number one love, and Isaiah Jacob, who's getting along with his brother, co-coaching those Johnstown something or others.
Warriors, fighter.
The Johnnies.
Oh.
The Johnstown Johnnies.
Keep it simple.
That is lame.
It's a good name.
Sorry.
They go together well, Johnstown and Johnnies.
Yeah, no kidding, because a lot of creativity went into that nickname.
It's the Ohio State Staters.
Yeah, at least you guys
Ohioans.
Hey, at least you guys are getting along, unlike your number one, but you guys got a tight ship that you're running around there. All right. So, good news for Ali Sanzenbacher. First of all, thank you for your listenership. Second of all, I think Indiana's winning the championship. And we can get into in a little bit why I think that Kurt Cignetti is the number one coach in college football, which that take was a little bit of a cold take when I initially delivered that. It is now becoming more and more popular, so that's cool. Although, a bunch of Johnny-come-latelys, in my opinion. But
well, in your opinion.
In my opinion.
You're keeping receipts.
Yeah,
As I can see by our show notes, I have dates of when people have signed
I
on.
have dates of when people started to catch on a little bit.
So petty.
I didn't write it down. I just remembered.
Okay.
But anyway, we'll get into the whole Kurt Cignetti. Look, even if Miami wins it all, I don't think anyone's going to be like, oh, Mario Cristobal is the best coach in college football with some of the late game mistakes that he's made in recent years. But I think Indiana is winning the championship tomorrow. I think they're the better football team, but I think people have this all wrong. A lot of people were watching that Indiana-Oregon game in the, I guess it would be what bowl game was that? Who cares? Why am I even getting caught up in that detail? Was it the Orange Bowl? Did it have to go anywhere? No? Maybe? No, Orange Bowl was in
Atlanta. It was in Atlanta.
Okay, so that'd be the Peach Bowl. So when Indiana was just dismantling Oregon, a lot of the conversation that I'm seeing in like group chats with my buddies on Twitter, which I don't even like Twitter, but sometimes it's the only sample you have when you're trying to look for some sort of opinion poll, if you will. So everyone was kind of being like, man, Indiana is they destroyed Alabama. They're destroying Oregon. They are going to destroy anyone and everyone in their path. I say to that, slow your roll. So I was looking at the spread, and Vegas has it projected as Indiana -8.5. I think that's a bit of a stretch. As much as I think Indiana's going to win, as much as I think that they are the better football team, especially as it pertains to the Oregon game, we all got to admit that game was probably Oregon's worst football game in a long, long time. They handed Indiana 28 points. There was the pick six right off the bat on a bad throw. There were 2 fumbles in immediate scoring position for Indiana, which turned into touchdowns. And there was a blocked punt on like the 10-yard line. So there were some very, very short fields that Indiana was granted. And then by the end of the game, because the score was so lopsided, that affected what the play calling and what the situations would have looked like in the second half. So the second half wasn't like a representation of anything in a close game. I think this is going to be a close game. I give Kurt Cignetti so much credit for where he's got them. Last year he began the program basically as just half of James Madison playing in the Big Ten and somehow still managed to go 11-1. Ohio State was so much more talented, and they just weren't going to win that game no matter what. And they weren't going to win the Notre Dame game because they didn't have the talent for that too. But they added more and more talent this year. Still, even so, most people in Columbus, Ohio can only name one player on their team, Fernando Mendoza. They are going to have probably the number 1 pick in the draft going to the Las Vegas Raiders. But outside of that, you still got a bunch of players who a lot of people in this city cannot name. And they've made it this far. They play damn good football. They play smart. They play tough. But Miami's a damn good football team, too, and they got a hell of a lot of talent. And they got a lot of talent up front, and that is where the game is won. So Ruben Bain, Akeem Mesidor, the defensive line's awesome. Francis Maui-Noah at the right tackle, their offensive line is awesome. Carson Beck, I think, has been playing pretty tough football in this CFP. So I think as much as I believe, and I do believe and am actively rooting for Indiana to win the championship because I'm rooting for my whole agenda about Kurt Cignetti because I'm trying to win some arguments, if you couldn't tell. But exactly. I don't think it's going to be the walkover that people were talking about during the Oregon game when Oregon just handed Indiana 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, I think that's exactly the only thing that can stop it. Well, that happens when Miami allows it to happen. What happens in this game is, I think, completely on Miami. Indiana has been so good. Like, the only times they have faltered, Penn State was a close game. Obviously, Big Ten Championship was a close game, is when they have made rare mistakes. But their whole brand has been like, they don't hurt themselves. And when you do, like Oregon did, Oregon just did the worst things you could do, is just spot them points and make mistakes. If you do make mistakes, they're going to capitalize on it. So I think that's what's made them so good and make them so dangerous. And so Miami's going to have to play near perfect. I mean, like, yes, they do have the athletes. You know, they have potential to win, but you can't count on them. You can't count on Indiana shooting themselves in the foot. Now, the big caveat, which has been with, I mean, really everything that is college football, it is by nature more unpredictable. And a game like this lends itself to a little bit more weight. You don't know what happens in these games. So, yeah, who does that lean towards? I don't know. It's hard to handicap these games. But from the sample size you have of what Indiana has done, at least in the playoff, it's hard to see a world where Miami is able to make it messy enough. I think they need to make it messy because it's not going to, if it's not a pretty game, it needs to be, it's going to be because they forced Indiana to make a mistake. Other than that, I don't know how you stop
right.
How you stop it from just going off the rails. Indiana has so much experience in that room. I think that one of the, and it might get talked about a lot in the media. I don't hear it enough, because Coach Cignetti takes up all the air in the room. It becomes like this like genius game. But the amount of experience the players have, and obviously he's noted for, hey, I want production now. I don't really care about potential. But the guys, like the years of football experience, these guys, nobody's a newbie in there. So I don't see like getting starstruck by the big. They've been on big stages now. That's already been answered.
Yeah.
But they've put themselves in a position that if it was anybody, if they were wearing other uniforms, you would be like, no question. If Alabama was doing this to teams right now in the playoff, you'd be like, no.
Right.
I do think there's like, and it's rightfully so. This is an unprecedented turnaround.
We don't know the players.
We don't know the players. We don't know them unless you've been really following it. So, yeah, I don't know. It's going to be an interesting one. I think everything points towards Indiana having the major upper hand here. But I don't think anybody would have pegged Miami even in this game.
Okay, so you brought up the term sample size. That's something that I want to focus on because I think the small sample size of Indiana's success is restricting some of my colleagues from admitting that Curt Cignetti is already the best coach in college football because he just got to Indiana. He's turning it around so quickly. He hasn't built a dynasty because there hasn't been enough time to build a dynasty. And so people have been starting to come around to my side of things. But I declared after the first Oregon game, certainly after the second, but after the first Oregon game, when Curt Cignetti took his band of misfits and transfers out to Oregon, who I guess Oregon has a million transfers too because they just pay everybody. But when he went out to Oregon and won a really big game on the road, a lot of travel in between, that is when I stamped Curt Cignetti as the best coach in college football. And the argument that my coworkers didn't want to hear is I was saying, look, he wins all of his 50-50 games, basically, and you can attribute that also to James Madison when he was playing in a different league. He wasn't going to be playing for national championships, so no, he doesn't have Kirby Smart's national championships. No, he doesn't have Ryan Day's championship from last year, but he wins basically all of his coin flip games in terms of talent because I don't expect somebody who has a clearly inferior roster to just go out and beat someone who has way more talent than them, which is why I'm excusing the OSU loss and the Notre Dame loss last year. And I'm also not going to give someone a bunch of credit for just rolling the football out and beating a team that has not nearly as much talent as them, because those are replaceable. Anybody can go coach and win those games. Curt Cignetti went from winning all of his coin flip games to stealing games to now being expected to win in a fashion that is so quick. I've never seen anything like this. And so that is why I'm comfortable saying you flip the rosters with anybody. Georgia play Indiana. Flip the rosters. Whichever roster has Curt Cignetti as the head coach, I'm confident that he's going to win. Flip the rosters with Oregon. I think Curt Cignetti probably takes Oregon's team and then goes and beats Indiana. I think Curt Cignetti, at this point, especially if he's about to win a championship, which for the sake of my argument and for the sake of your household, knock on wood that he does. But if Curt Cignetti wins a championship, I'm pretty comfortable saying that he could win a championship with not just this roster, but he could win a championship with more rosters than any other coach, I guess is my point that I make. That's why he's number one to me.
I would disagree with that. I think it's overvaluing him solo a little bit too much. Now, in this argument, yeah, who would you put in there? What he's done is great, but what he's done, I think, has been they've perfectly mixed what he brings to the table, his quirks, all of his talents, along with a huge experienced coaching staff that has bounced around with him, with where and what Indiana is and their expectation, and ridden that wave. I don't know that you can equally say you can have one without the other and one is the clear dominant. Like, he has quirky, he's like Bill Belichick-y. Now, was the magic of the Patriots in that time, and how wild we're doing. I'm comparing the Hoosiers and the
Indiana Hoosiers.
But here we are.
Or the Bill Belichick
It's
Patriots.
2026. I'm just saying, like, you could say it was the whole mix of all of it, because there's so many different things to coaching, and there's levels and different problems. Like, they have not had to face the problems that, 10 years or whatever at Georgia, Kirby Smart has had to do with staying at that level. What it becomes more about, how am I running this program than how am I calling this game? Clearly, Kirk Cignetti and his staff in preparation, in scheme, in all of those discipline things have shown that they have something that works, whether it was at James Madison or now. They have something that works on the field. Anymore, okay, this is great. Why people, I think are right to say, like, hey, let's see what this looks like, because different problems arise in year 4, in year 5, in consistently doing this when you have the target, when you're competing for the same things. So it's a fun argument. I don't know if you can have a definitive one. I think you have what has happened with IU this year, and he's the head man for it, nobody has ever seen before. But I just think I would give as much credit to the program and not make it just about Cignetti, because in their defense, Indiana,
he is the program though,
in a way, but they were they had talent. Michael Penix went there. They had whoever the Cincinnati quarterback, Sorsby, he was there. They had pieces. They were doing something right. They just were not putting it together for years. And now they caught fire with Cignetti, no doubt. But I think there is something to where I disagree with you most is the roster shift, that Cignetti could do it anywhere and completely flip it and still have the success. I think it has to work in a certain environment that it is working in right now.
Okay, I'm going to respond to that. And also, the Browns are flirting with making a terrible decision, but what other kind of decisions do the Browns actually make? We'll be back in 2 minutes. Do not go anywhere, 97.1.
Get Eco.
Hey, Aaron, you know how it seems like everything just moves faster nowadays?
You mean like technology and all those crazy inventions?
Well, our furnace repair buyback program means you can slow down and take your time deciding what to do.
Get Eco.
We act fast so you can plan slowly.
You're right, Jerry. If your furnace fails in the dead of winter, call us. We'll be right there to fix it the day you call.
Boom. We're there. It's fixed.
Get Eco.
But our repair buyback means you still have time to think it over in the warmth and comfort of your toasty warm home.
And if you decide you'd rather replace that old clunker instead of fixing it every year, we'll credit the money you spent on repairs against the purchase of a brand new furnace, up to $1,500.
We act fast so you can plan slowly.
How long have you been working on that line?
Good poetry takes time, Aaron.
Get Eco.
GetEco.com.
My advisor at Plant Moran Wealth Management knows my definition of wealthy. Rescue animals. Everywhere. So, my husband and I bought property and opened a sanctuary. It's our happy place. And from the sound of it, it's their happy place too.
You have your own personal definition of wealthy. Plant Moran Wealth Management knows it takes a personal approach to get you there. Experience the difference with Plant Moran Wealth Management. Book a consultation today.
Maybe it was a family vacation or a school field trip. But there you were, standing in awe at a national park. We are the National Park Foundation, and together with you, we're creating a future where every person, every generation, gets their chance at an unforgettable moment. Today, tomorrow, forever. Learn more at nationalparks.org/foundation.
Just when you thought afternoons couldn't get any dumber.
You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have you?
Common Man and Timmy.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
Your home for dumb. The Fan. Your go-to destination for Buckeye football talk all year round. This is Fan Sports Sunday.
Cole, Bartemes, Dane Sanzenbacher, Isaiah Jacob. Dublin well represented. The Johnnies a little bit represented. And we appreciate you wherever you are. 97.1 The Fan on YouTube, by the way. Jump in the chat. People complaining that the Bills got the game robbed from them by the refs. I don't want to hear anything about that. You turn the ball over 5 times, whatever. You can go fly a kite if you're going to be talking about the refs lost the game for you. You had 5 turnovers. Anyway, I wanted to respond to your point where you were talking about how Indiana had a better foundation. I don't want to twist your words or misinterpret what you said. It sounded like you were saying Indiana had more of a foundation than people are giving the university credit for, and that Curt Cignetti didn't just do all of this entirely by himself. And that's fine, I guess, but I could definitely make the argument that whichever other coach you would want to put in place, first of all, let me make sure that I got you clear on this, because do you think that Curt Cignetti is the best coach in college football? Do you think that title is fair? Because you can agree with both things. You can agree with me that Curt Cignetti is number 1 in college football and also think that maybe I'm taking it too far and giving him too much credit for the program. Those two things aren't mutually exclusive. You can think both those things.
I think he deserves the lion's share of the credit. Why I wouldn't take the stance yet is because I probably fall with a lot of other people where it's too new. It's too when I hear best coach in college football that's currently doing it, there's a little bit of time that needs to happen in there, and I need to see like how you respond to things. How like when you don't win every game every year. Now if he never loses games, then I don't know what I'm going to say. I'm not saying that's a crazy thing to say. So what's the timeline on this, though? Because Kirby Smart hasn't won a playoff game since his back-to-back championships. And so you can say, I guess, if you wanted to. I mean, they've been in the playoffs, so I'm not saying Kirby Smart's like falling off a cliff. Let me say, if you changed it to Indiana has the best staff in college football, I might like as a full unit, I might agree with you. And for reasons of the length they've been around and how much of an advantage that is in this game. They've been together for a long time. And I think he's also had, I think one of Miami's defensive coordinators, one of their coordinators has ties to Cignetti and James Madison. So I think he is ultra talented too at building that staff. I think that's a huge part of it. And he has not had to go through the pain of losing offensive and defensive coordinators that want to be head coaches themselves and replacing them. That's I think, a distinction.
Okay. This is the argument, though, and I guess the whole hypothetical thing of, like, if you just switched the coaches and kept the players, I think Curt Cignetti could beat you with your team in a lot of places. That's hypothetical. I can't prove that because that's a counterfactual. But I think it's pretty clear that whoever else you would want to nominate as the number 1 coach in college football had a massive head start on what Curt Cignetti had to take over at Indiana. Like, maybe I'm giving him a little bit too much individual credit. That's fine. But as much as you say that the university had a foundation that maybe we're not giving them any credit for, let's take a look at some of the examples that my coworkers were throwing at me. So when I first brought this up, I brought this up when it became a controversy, was just hanging out in the offices back there on New Year's Day. This was in between the Orange Bowl and the Rose Bowl. So Oregon had just basically, I think, shut out Texas Tech. Ohio State, Miami was the night before. And so we're watching the warm-ups of Indiana, Alabama on the TV. So Indiana hadn't played football in like 3 weeks since the Big Ten championship game. That's when this discussion was initially had. And so I'm like, there's Curt Cignetti. There's the best coach in college football. Just like in passing, not even like trying to like be a hot taker. But I got people throwing names at me. So Nicole Sheeran says Kirby Smart and Ryan Day. And it just so happens that Kirby Smart would go on to later lose that night to Ole Miss. So that only bolstered my argument, which is great. But Kirby Smart took over a program that was in a better spot than Curt Cignetti did. Ryan Day took over a better program at Ohio State from Urban Meyer than Curt Cignetti did at Indiana. So I got to give him a lot of credit, the lion's share of the credit, for starting at the lowest point where Indiana's been a punchline forever. And now we got Kirby Smart and Ryan Day comparisons. He also just beat Ryan Day head-to-head, so that's fair. I think with a less talented roster, in my opinion, and I think basically everybody's opinion, not that, and Matty Ice was firing back at me saying, like, well, it's not like Indiana doesn't have draft picks. And I'm like, Okay, they will have draft picks, but Ohio State's going to have 5 first-rounders. They have more talent, and Indiana just beat them on a neutral site. So I got to give them a ton of credit for that. Matty Ice wanted to present Dan Lanning. Again, this was on New Year's Day, so this was before Indiana just did what they did to Oregon. So I think that maybe he'd feel differently about it now. Maybe he wouldn't. But Dan Lanning took over a program at Oregon that Mario Cristobal left for Miami. And so Mario Cristobal's final year at Oregon, he took Oregon into the shoe and beat Ohio State. So that was a program that was pretty well established and pretty successful. Jacob Reimer brought up Marcus Freeman. I'm telling you right now, and I love Marcus Freeman. We'll talk about Marcus Freeman later when we get to all this coaching stuff. But because he's flirting with the NFL significantly heavily and he's not really hiding it. But I would absolutely trade Marcus Freeman for Curt Cignetti. I wouldn't do that for many because I love Marcus Freeman. I love him. But if there were a coach in college football that I'd be willing to see, all right, hey, Marcus, you can go to the NFL because this guy's coming in, it would be Curt Cignetti. I'd take him over all of them. And Marcus Freeman took over. He was the defensive coordinator at Notre Dame. Brian Kelly leaves to go to LSU, and he walks into that program, a program that had made the playoffs 2 times in the 4 years leading up to that point. Curt Cignetti took over a program where Tom Allen was fired for performance. In fact, out of all of these names, Kirby Smart would have taken over for I think Mark Richt, and so I think Mark Richt may have gotten fired from Georgia. Maybe he just stepped down. I kind of forget how that went. But everybody else that you throw at me, those coaches took over a program where somebody else left for whatever reason. Okay, Curt Cignetti took over a program where the coach got fired because they were 3-9, and they were sick and tired of losing all the time. And they probably gave Tom Allen a decent amount of time, but what he took over at Indiana isn't comparable to what a lot of these coaches took over at a lot of other schools. He had just started a point that was way lower, and he didn't even have like a growth period. I give Matt Rule a ton of credit because Matt Rule had multiple programs. He took Temple to, I think, an 11-1 season or something really good like that. His first year at Baylor, he was 1-11. His third year at Baylor, he was 11-1. So Matt Rule, I give him a ton of credit. He was a great college coach. But I say was because this whole Nebraska thing isn't working out so far. But Curt Cignetti didn't even have that growth period. He showed up for a program that was terrible and is 11-1 immediately. It's incredible.
I hear everything you're saying.
I know. I threw a lot at you. I'm sorry.
That was a lot.
I know.
I hear that you love this guy. Is what Isaiah? Did I miss anything?
No, he definitely likes him.
He really likes this guy.
Dane Sanzenbacher and Isaiah Jacob are both here. I know that I kind of hosted my own radio show there for a little bit.
No, that was great. I was like, this guy. He loves him. He fired everybody. He fired his own coach. He's like, I want this guy.
Marcus Freeman wants the NFL. And you know what? We can talk about him and all them other next, but I'm just letting you know.
Yeah. Well, okay. I hear all that you're saying. One, I think you're saying a lot of it in an effort to really push me to agree. And I
only if you think they're good points.
I think they're great points.
Oh.
I don't think they're all the things you're saying are factual. All right, I'm notoriously somebody who is going to I'll respond after the break. I'm notoriously somebody who is going to not jump at the newest thing. Okay. So that's my resistance.
And I usually don't either. I usually need to, and you know what? I need to see something twice. I can't just see anything once. Anything can happen once. So this second year of Cignetti is what's doing it for me. Because last year that was great. I didn't think it was going to look like this. I thought Indiana was going to fall to grace and go to like 7-5 or something like that. But I'll let you sit on it because I kind of threw 5 minutes of material at you. But I got something even further that I want to take with this. And then we'll get to the Browns coaching stuff and Marcus Freeman. That's all coming up next. I know. Stick around. We're having fun. It's Fan Sports Sunday. We got you till 2 o'clock. Stick around, 97.1.
The only workplace in America to participate in the Doorknob Fart Game. And we also play office basketball and sometimes do radio. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Your mornings are jam-packed. So if you're going to add anything, make it your favorite bite from Tim Hortons. Buy any size beverage and add a daily baked donut for $1, a tasty bagel for $2, or a freshly cracked hot breakfast sandwich for just $3. It's the best way to add more to your morning. The 1, 2, 3 menu, only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants, must ask for offer in restaurant. Tax extra. Exclusions and terms apply at timhortons.com/offer-terms.
There's no place in hockey where you'll find more passion, more pride, and more boom. Make some memories with the Columbus Dispatch Family Value Pack, presented by ABC6 and Fox 28 at bluejackets.com/family.
Great Lakes Hyundai. The savings are so good.
Don't start the new year with the same old ride. Right now, score low lease payments on all 2026 models, like $149 a month for a brand new Elantra or $159 for a new Sonata. Hurry in and kick off the new year right. Columbus or Dublin or glakeshyundai.com. With proof credit $39.95 down plus tax, title, and fees. 2-year lease for 10K miles per year. New Hyundais come equipped with owner assurance and America's best warranty. A 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage. Ends 2/2.
At National Geographic Society, we believe in the power of wonder. It drives us to explore, pushes us to see the world differently, moves us to action. And we believe that today, wonder is more essential than ever. Wow. That's why we're supporting a new generation of explorers to ask big questions, make breakthroughs, and bring the future closer. Wonder awaits. Will you join us? Visit natgeo.org/wonder.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Did you know January is the perfect time to replace your windows? At least if you go with Window Nation, it is. January at Window Nation is buy 4, get 4 window free time. Yes, that's the sale. Plus, with Window Nation, you can get 0 down, 0 monthly payments, and 0 interest for 2 years. Plus, Window Nation windows get a 50-point inspection before they leave the factory. They come with a lifetime warranty, and they can be installed within a day. Buy 4 windows, get 4 windows free sale. Going on now. WindowNation.com.
Yo, I'm your old basketball. Haven't seen you out on the courts in a while. Why not pass me over to Goodwill? Donating me helps Goodwill's mission to provide career training and support services right here in the community. And that's a slam dunk. Donate today. Hey, I got next.
To find your nearest Goodwill locations and to learn more about our mission, please visit goodwill.org. Goodwill, where your things start new lives.
Morning Juice is now on YouTube, weekday mornings starting at 6. If you're a fan of Bobby Carpenter, he's ready to attack and dominate. If you're a fan of Jeff Gudoff, drive directly to a hospital. Seriously, The Fan.
Disasters strike, fires, hurricanes, earthquakes. Direct Relief delivers. No politics, no red tape. Direct Relief is a lifeline to people in crisis. So check them out at directrelief.org. And if you can, donate.
Listen up, football fans. You won't want to miss this.
Right now, new Bet365 customers bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. So you could turn that $200 into something bigger when you bet on money line, spread, totals, player props.
$200 in bonus bets when new customers bet $5. I know where I'm going to bet from now on. Download the app today and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply. In-app only.
We are the keepers of the wild, America's original and most invested conservationists. For more than 80 years, we've been committed to conserving wildlife and the natural landscapes that define our nation. From rugged alpine ridgelines to peaceful tall grass prairies, we've supported the conservation of more than 36 million acres of American wildlands. Our funding has led to cleaner water, fresher air, and improved wildlife habitat. From abundant fish and waterfowl populations to robust deer and elk herds, nothing is more important than maintaining wild spaces for adventurers to explore and wildlife to thrive. We are America's hunters and target shooters, stewards of the American outdoors.
America's hunters and target shooters, along with firearm, ammunition, and archery manufacturers, have invested more than $46 billion to help state fish and wildlife agencies manage and protect wildlife and wildlands across America. For more information, visit outdoorstewards.org.
Wildlife around the globe needs help. And when you help protect them, you become a friend of the San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance.
Thank you for being a friend.
Travel down the road and back again.
Your heart is true, you're a pal and a confidant.
Thank you for helping protect wildlife around the globe. Without you, there's no them. Learn more at sdzwa.org/friend.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. It's sports conversation, but with a drink and umbrella as a garnish. This is Fan Sports Sunday.
Oh, I thought there was almost like the update music for a second. I'm like, am I supposed to give an update? This is, you know what this is? By the way, Bartemes and Dane Sanzenbacher, Isaiah Jacob. We got to give you the rundown of the roster every single time. This is the update music on the weekends, the game day scoreboards.
It is.
That's why I heard this music and got PTSD of like, I don't have my notes. Like, what's the score? Who's playing? What's going on? So on all the pregame shows that we do, God, they got to change that music. That scared me for half a second. That's one of the nightmare situations is like when the update music's playing and like you don't know like who's doing the updates.
It happened to me like 2 hours ago. Whew. I thought that I had loaded in a little pre-recorded one. All of a sudden,
it didn't take.
The scoreboard update's on and my voice isn't on there. So then I just go top of the dome.
You went top of the dome?
Went top of the dome.
All right, grade yourself. How'd it go? Because, dude, that's nightmare fuel.
It was probably a C+ update.
A C+? I'll take that.
It was a C+ if my pre-recorded ones, and for the best that I can do an A, because obviously it's pre-recorded, it's going to be perfect. A C+ is like no stumbles. I didn't like cross teams. Like the very first thing I said was the Seattle Seahawks played the San Francisco 49ers. And then once I got through that, I was good.
That's impressive that you grade yourself a C+. Dude, I would mail it in so hard. So if that ever happened to me, and I don't do the updates during Rothman and Ice, but I'm running the board, and so it's either Tyler Danberg or Ryan Baker or whoever, Jacob Reimer sometimes. If they like don't have it in, but like they think they have it in, or like if no one shows up, then it's just got to be me. And so I'm probably just going to like pull up NBA scores or NHL scores and just start reading scores from last night. Be like, hey, the Senators and the Maple Leafs played last night.
Yeah. Or very smoothly just make it all up and hope that people are so zoned out that they're just like not even going to call you on like anything. And the Seahawks played the Browns last night and they won by a score of 27-26 on a Martin Gramatica field goal. And you just get through it quickly and nobody's like, wait, what did he just say?
Exactly.
Probably good. It's only like 2 minutes, right?
1 minute, but it feels like a lifetime.
Trust me, if it were 2 minutes, that would, yeah. If you think 1 minute feels like a lifetime, imagine a 2 minute update. Oh my God, having to improv that, I wouldn't be that talented. Join us on the YouTube chat, 97.1 The Fan. We got Phil J in there. He's a regular. He's messages us on Rothman and Ice. He says, y'all boys killing it today. Thank you. Just knocked out the bathroom. Gonna do the kitchen next. I don't know if he's remodeling a home.
No, he's cleaning. He's cleaning.
Oh.
You don't remodel the bathroom real quick on a Sunday.
I didn't know if he was like,
and then do the kitchen next. He's cleaning.
I didn't know if he was like laying down some hardwood, some tile or whatever.
Maybe, I don't know.
But go ahead, join us in there. Sage Ohio also said very good show, so thank you very much. We appreciate that. Isaiah's in there commenting back and forth with people. I'm doing the same thing, so check us out there. All right, the hot take that I wanted to deliver, and I didn't think of it. Well, I've thought of it before, but I just didn't think to bring it to the show until just now because We'll put the Signetti stuff to bed until we bring him up later as a very brief talking point off of Marcus Freeman, whether or not we think Signetti will play well in the NFL. Answer, probably not. But with Curt Signetti, the hot take that I had, and I confessed that I'd be willing to sacrifice my coach, Marcus Freeman in South Bend. I would say, hey, man, you could take the NFL job if Curt Signetti's coming because I'd rather have him anyway. And in the heart of hearts of Buckeye fans, they know this. They won't want to admit it because they don't like him. And that's fine. You don't have to like Curt Signetti. But with the way that they treat Ryan Day like a piñata, I can put enough clues. Ohio State fans, they wouldn't admit it because they hate Curt Signetti and they hate his personality and he's weird, he's arrogant, he's this, he's that. By the way, arrogance is a very ugly quality unless you're in sports and you're unbelievably good at what you do, and then it kind of feels justified. He's kind of in that category for me. As awkward as Curt Signetti is, I'm like, if he wants to do the whole Google me routine, which he confessed was basically an act because he was just trying to play politics and stir up some excitement, and he wanted to see what kind of heartbeat the program had, evidently one that exists. But I think in the heart of Buckeye fans, they'd rather have Curt Signetti than Ryan Day. I don't think they'd admit it because they don't like Curt Signetti. Fine, you don't have to, but I think your program would be in a better spot right now, as I've made the point that I'd take Curt Signetti over anybody right now.
Yeah.
Okay, give me two things. Would Buckeye fans agree, first of all, We're speaking. I'm not speaking for everybody. We don't have time to consider every single human being listening to this show. Okay, just generally speaking, greater than 50%. Do you think Buckeye fans would agree with that? Second to that, do you think that they would be willing to admit it?
I don't. I think 1 is probably not true, so 2 doesn't matter. So it's
You
not
think
like
they'd rather have Ryan Day?
Well, yeah, I do. Well, I challenge the one point that you say. I think Indiana, I still think Ohio State as a program, and when you're talking program, you need to take into consideration more than this year's success on the field and excitement around it. Anymore, college football is about building a system that's within a donor base, an athletic department, support staff, all of those things that we are yet to see with Indiana. Obviously, they've had a great year, and this is an outstanding hire, and they're going to get money flooding in to do that. But there are different levels. So even if, you would say, okay, program, yeah, they're in a great. What if Kurt Cignetti was going to go to the NFL? Do you think if you're this high on just him?
I think that'd be a huge mistake.
You're saying anybody can't just come in and do this at IU. So how strong is that program? Where you could say, well, if Ryan Day decides he wants to go take an NFL job, you're pretty confident in Ohio State you can rinse and repeat. You're pretty sure you have a system built around there. So that's why I'd say they wouldn't
So what you just argued is that Ryan Day is replaceable.
I'm saying it's that Ohio State is bigger than just a head coaching position. There is a system built here that is built on strength that if you're saying Indiana, I'm saying you said as a program, Indiana is at the pinnacle. Yes, they are the hottest thing winning right now. But would you... So I don't think it's saying hey, yeah, we'll take Kurt Cignetti right now. A point you made was, why don't you think Kurt Cignetti would work in the NFL?
I don't think he'd work. Well, first of all, I don't think many college coaches would work in the NFL just because it's totally different when you have the draft versus recruiting. Although I guess it's not that different anymore because now it's more like Major League Baseball where everybody's got their own individual budget and there's not really a salary cap. It's kind of just how much you have. And so when teams have different amounts of money to spend, it's tough to judge. But the fallback argument has always been when you can't recruit your rosters and your roster positions are kind of decided for you based on the draft, based on having a GM, based on having an owner. When you have way less impact and it's mostly X's and O's, I think when you have way less culture impact, and with the way that the NFL is built, it's built to bring everybody towards the middle. When you're good, they schedule you to come down a little bit. They put you at the bottom of the draft. When you're at the bottom, they try to buoy you up to the middle with high draft picks and with an easier schedule. And so because of that, I think that if you got something rolling in college football where your program has your fingerprints all over it, and if you're successful, don't leave a good thing just because the NFL is the NFL and that is the peak league. But
what makes Kurt Cignetti so good that wouldn't be successful in the NFL then?
Well, I guess the question is he a scheme guy or is he a team builder? Because if you're in the NFL, are you a really good scheme guy where you're going to be X's and O's offense stuff, or are you a team builder, which I think he is a team builder. I think he's a leader. And that's where I think he could have some success if he went that route.
There was a topic, for example, one of those ESPN shows had, would Kurt Cignetti be a good fit for the Raiders? Because this is such a stupid thing. There's way too much time between the football season and the draft. And so what people are trying to do now is, could Mendoza and Cignetti be a couple going to the Raiders? Which, so what? Just because you have your college quarterback, there's so much else that you have to get right to have a successful NFL team. But the NFL is working against you when you're successful. In college, when you're successful, everything's kind of working in your favor. That's why I think if you're successful in college, you're about to face adversity in the NFL like you haven't faced in college. And it's going to throw so many challenges at you. It's so much harder. And so it's less impressive. So this is a weird way to look at it,
but some people can so you're saying any coach shouldn't go from college to the NFL because you won't have success. Or specifically Cignetti, and for what reason? Why wouldn't he?
Well, it's more of just a general principle, and I would just am putting him in the bucket of like any coach that leaves college for the NFL, I am assuming there will be less success because the NFL is going to throw so much at you to try to tear you down if you're successful and bring you back towards the middle. And so it'd be anybody. It's not just a Curt Cignetti thing. It's not culture, this or that, but like, I think any coach that has a real program rolling in college.
And would you say what makes a program be rolling?
Winning.
Okay,
money.
so exactly why I would say, like, I don't think the normal Ohio State fan would say, hey, we don't want Ryan Day, because by every measure, while we didn't win another national championship, this program is rolling.
Right.
So why would you mess that up? I guess that's why I don't think it would be like, things are in dire straits here. We need to go get Curt Cignetti. Like, would you trade? Is it the hottest thing? Would they really? It's like, are you asking, would we rather be in the national championship right now? Of course.
I'm not doing a Ryan Day should be fired and like.
No, but I'm saying, like you said, the hot take, which it was hot on purpose. Would Ohio State fans admit that they would rather have Curt Cignetti?
They'd rather have him.
But that implies that, like, you're getting rid of what you have now. Why would you shake up anything at Ohio State?
Just because he's a better coach. If the only way this would work, and we are way out over time here, but we'll get to that in a second. We'll get to Isaiah's big Sports Center update in a second. But what I'm telling you is Curt Cignetti's better. And if you had the two options, you take Curt Cignetti. Okay, the Browns are about to break all the rules, and that's not a good thing. But the Browns always break all the rules, and they always suck. So, what do you expect? Stick around, Fan Sports on The Fan.
Question from a listener. Do you dopes ever get tired of talking about Ohio State? No. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
If you win playing the new Ultimate $5 million scratch-off, you don't have to tell anyone. But there will be signs. Signs like courtside seats. Signs like a water slide attached to your bedroom. Signs like upgrading your clunker to something less clunky. With over $200 million in prizes and the best odds in Ohio history to win $5 million, this is your sign to play the Ultimate $5 million scratch-off. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
What does it mean to give 100%? It means giving everything you've got, every single day. That's why the V Foundation gives 100% of every dollar donated directly to cancer research. So no matter what you give, we give 100% for life-saving research victories, 100% to making new discoveries that lead to innovative treatments, 100% to groundbreaking cancer research that could one day save someone you love. We know cancer research is working. Over the last 30 years, an estimated 4.5 million lives have been saved thanks to game-changing research breakthroughs. But there is more work to do. That's why the V Foundation gives 100% of every dollar donated directly to cancer research. We will always give 100% to accelerate victory over cancer.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Donate today at v.org.
Did you know that 80% of New Year's resolutions fail by February? And did you know there's a good chance it's just hormones? Hi, I'm Evan Bass, founder of the Columbus Men's Clinic, and I started this clinic a decade ago to take care of men. If your testosterone is low, then motivation, energy, and drive often follow too. And keeping resolutions can feel like walking through mud, and even more so as we age. ED and low T tend to get worse if untreated. And guys, you're not alone. Your physician-led support team at the Columbus Men's Clinic has your back. For years, we've effectively treated ED and low T comprehensively, and with proven treatments dialed in just for you. With same-day booking, you can meet our passionate medical team, and by this afternoon, you'll leave with a plan that's designed to be sustainable for life. The number one thing we hear guys say is, I forgot how I used to feel. Guys, it's time to feel amazing and crush this new year. Call my team right now and let us treat you to an unforgettable experience. Dial 614-300-7400 or go to columbusmensclinic.com. That's columbusmensclinic.com.
Your child is sick. With those 4 words, the innocence and joy of childhood disappears. But Starlight has taught us 4 other words that make all the difference. The power of play. Happy kids heal faster. That's why Starlight Children's Foundation delivers happiness through gaming, toy deliveries, and more to hospitals across the country. Learn more at starlight.org.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios. Driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning, I'm Isaiah Jacob. Last night, the Denver Broncos and Buffalo Bills went into an overtime thriller with the Broncos escaping with a 33-30 win. But that did come at a price. Head coach of the Broncos, Sean Payton, announced in the post-game QB Bo Nix had fractured his right ankle just 3 plays before Will Lutz kicked the field goal to give the Broncos the win. Nix will be sidelined the rest of the postseason. Following the overtime thriller, the late game last night got out of hand quick as Seattle jumped to a 17-0 start in the first over the San Francisco 49ers. They went on to roll 41-6. Today, postseason play continues as the Houston Texans travel to take on the Patriots at 3, while the Chicago Bears host the LA Rams at 6:30. Last night for the Jackets, they beat the Penguins 4-3, extending the team's win streak to 4 games, while OSU Hoops got back on track yesterday as well with an 86-74 win over UCLA. Breaking sports news when it happens on the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Are you still in your pajamas? We are. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
We're still having the debate off the air. Go Bartemes, Dane Sanzenbacher.
It's bad. We're badly trying to move on.
I know. We will. All right, we're done.
We're done. Okay, let's move on.
We're done with the Kurt Cinetti conversation until next week, where we'll have it with Joshua instead. Actually, he already declared that he agreed with me, so there's nothing to debate there. So we're all good.
Okay, I agree with you.
All right. Zeke, you're the star of the show, okay? I got 2 things for you. Let's go. I don't want to ask two-part question. I already asked Dane a 2-part question. You know what? That's something that I noticed that I hate watching, like, interviews. Like, if I were an interview guest, it'd be hard enough for me to focus on, like, just their first question, especially with, like, McAfee's show. All of his cronies are asking, like, 3-part questions to everybody. I'm like, you guys are doing a terrible job of, like, allowing them to answer what you want. And I already threw Dane a 2-part question in the last segment talking about would Buckeye fans want that and would they even admit that? So,
unless it's like the second question is just and why, because then it like opens it up. But like, yeah, you gave me one that if I said no to the first one, that second one didn't matter.
All right, so it was half passable. All right, I'll give you a preview, Zeke, of what I'm going to give you. Okay. First of all, it's going to be Kevin Stefanski going to Atlanta and how much you do or don't miss him. And then the second question that we'll get to later, they are giving Jim Schwartz a second interview, which I do not like. And he was the first one, I think, in the entire hiring cycle to receive a second interview, as other guys are now starting to get second interviews. But let's start it here. Kevin Stefanski, in this weird year where, like, the AFC North's trash is becoming everybody else's treasure, where the Ravens, after a long time, decide that they're done with John Harbaugh. The Browns, who, as we all know, it was kind of a roller coaster ride in Cleveland with Kevin Stefanski, where the highs were really the highs were coach of the year highs. He was a 2-time coach of the year here. The lows were, man, I'm not really sure Kevin Stefanski's like everything that he was cracked up to be. So it was a total roller coaster ride. That's no longer your responsibility. They release him into free agency, and we find out last night during the playoff games that the Atlanta Falcons are accepting Kevin Stefanski's services. So he's got some employment elsewhere. Are you going to miss him?
I have some of my most fond memories of Browns football with Kevin Stefanski, so that's a plus for me. I've always been a supporter of Kevin.
Always?
I've always been a supporter of Kevin. I understand.
Low standards.
I understand why we separated at the end of the season. It felt like it was coming last year, where the offense has been the past 3 seasons is essentially the bottom of the league. He's the offensive coordinator. He's handed it off 3 separate times and taken it back. And unfortunately, his offense, whether you agree that Andrew Berry dealt him a crappy hand or not, was not very good. Maybe a new leader in the room was necessary. So I understand why we parted ways. Will I miss him? That's just dependent on how this next season goes. For me, I was okay with us moving on, so I need to be okay with whoever they hire and also dealing with the consequences of this next season. Our offense could be just as bad as it was this year. Do I see that happening? I don't know. This year was pretty horrific. We're also bringing back the same quarterbacks, so it feels it might be that way.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't going to have a quarterback because you got boxed out of what we thought was a 2-quarterback draft, and now it might be a 1-quarterback draft with Mendoza now that Moore's going back to Oregon. So I guess we'll find out over the next 3 months where there's way too much time.
He will have success, though, in Atlanta, I think. I mean, the offense is set up. They have Bijan set up there.
Okay.
You have Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix. But what is success? Is success making the playoffs in a crappy division? Because, I mean, he's done that before with the Browns.
So that's important to declare now. Because
Michael Penix, first-round pick. Originally
IU Hoosier.
Before Kurt Signetti was there, just saying, there might have been a little bit of groundwork.
Anyway,
we'll let him go. I agree with you. No,
then why did he leave?
Cole, yeah, because Cole, I agree.
Okay, all right.
I'm going to get a tattoo.
Look, as long as we got to stamp this down. I like everything that you said, except for the part where you said that you've always been a supporter. I don't know about that. Especially, turn your microphone on.
I have been. Yeah. Always.
So this season was a little bit weird because Kevin Stefanski didn't have a chance to be successful in Cleveland because you were playing the quarterback shuffle. Your offensive line was terrible and hurt. So when your offensive line was already terrible, their backups are probably even more terrible, which they were. So as good as your defense was, your offense didn't have a chance. But I thought it was pretty clear that the Browns were playing very disorganized football this year. Just watching them play, they looked poorly coached. As much as they weren't going to win anyway, they looked like they just kept shooting themselves in the foot. And I understand this idea. And as a former player, I'd love to hear your opinion on this, where, like, when it comes down to it, players play. Like, I don't like to have the big arguments of, like, did he lose the locker? We're not in the locker room. We don't know what the players think about him. Or, just like, who's the leader in the locker room? We need some leadership. I don't like talking about, like, leadership and all that stuff on the radio because that's a bunch of stuff that we don't know about. But it is pretty apparent, like, for example, it's not Kevin Stefanski's fault when Harold Fannin Jr. commits a false start penalty. Harold Fannin Jr. is a pro. He knows not to move until the ball moves. It just happens that he did. Delay of game penalties are kind of tough to judge because, like, when did the play call get in? Is it on the quarterback for not getting organized? Is it on the receiver for not getting the play? Like, whatever. But when you have so many of just those, like, procedural errors, it does look like this football team looks like it doesn't know what it's doing. And individually, each mistake is on the player. But when it's so many players making so simple mistakes as the Browns were making, especially late in the year, I'm like, this kind of reflects the coach. And so, I mean, I guess this is the easiest way to ask this to you as a former player. When you watch football, what jumps off the screen to you as, oh, this is a poorly coached football team? Because I think that's something as fans that they kind of bob and weave in and out of blaming the players and blaming the coaches kind of just arbitrarily almost. Just like if the players make a mistake, they just automatically blame the coach. Oh, hey, this team's 3-14. This coach sucks. It's like, well, if you don't have any talent, you're going to lose a lot of those games anyway. So what does it look like when a team is poorly coached? What does that look like on TV?
Well, I mean, I think there's a lot of it that is there's so many moving parts in this game that there's so much that is out of your hands. I think on some point there's luck involved. There's always spin to put on things. If you become a team known for a certain thing, penalties, things that like aren't discipline, then it falls on you and it's a nice clean narrative. The things that I would say immediately to like, hey, poorly coached would be the coaching decisions that are made. But you could say the poster child for some of those, Mario Cristobal's in the national championship game. Like clock blunders, things like that are in your control. I think when you're watching the game, the hay's in the barn. I've always been like, if a player drops a pass or if there's like a lot of penalties on a player, like, yeah, you can go make an adjustment that week, but what are you going to do? Have them catch like 1,000 balls and then say, yeah, we resolved that problem? There's some things that are just like, oh, well, that's preparation. The little things fall start. I don't know. How do you beat that discipline into a team? Do you just like make everything regimented for like the next week or season and run a military program and say that's why we don't jump off sides? There's so many moving things. It's like things become convenient that it's their problem. And sometimes it's simple as just like, it's just not a fit here for whatever reason. And things start to snowball. A locker room, like you're only talking about leaders in locker room when you're not winning games. You could have a completely leaderless locker room, but you're winning. So everything looks great and feels awesome. You could have like a team full of like just like complete misfits and it ends up working. And us as sports fans, we'll find a way to we'll find a way to make that work. Like, yeah, that's why that works. So I don't know. It's tough. Maybe it's probably, and with anything, how long was Stefanski in Cleveland?
I think 6 seasons.
Years?
Yeah.
6 years. It's a long time. You know, that's you've got a lot of runway. You've got a lot of history with that person. At a certain point, you're just like, we think you're a good coach, but maybe this isn't just a fit. And it's as simple as we need something fresh. And I think a lot of times in the NFL, as you can see by like this round, these head coaches are getting fired one place and getting head jobs the next. It's not even like you're bumping down to going to somebody's staff. Like you're just going to a different team. A lot of times it is just like, hey, I think we just need a fresh start, fresh. We still think you're very good. Yeah, we still think you're a very good coach. Maybe it plays better in Atlanta, or maybe it plays better with the Giants. Like maybe it's just that much off. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't ever really get all over coaches if there's, hey, these 1, 2, or 3 mistakes. I think at this point you kind of, you know whether they're a good coach or not. And if the winning is not happening, maybe it's just not a fit.
All right, so now the Browns are looking to replace Kevin Stefanski. Who are they looking to get? And Marcus Freeman, I can see right through you, sir. That's coming up next, 97 on The Fan.
A lot of hosts have been on our airways in the past 30 years. Some good, some bad, some really bad. Anyway, sorry for that. The Fan.
Bag huge savings with Menards 15% off bag sale. Prevent diesel fuel from gelling in colder climates with Howe's Diesel Treat. It cleans and lubricates fuel injectors and is effective to negative 20 degrees. Get a 64-ounce bottle of Howe's Diesel Treat for $10.99 after you put it in the bag. Now through January 24th. Plus, get 15% off everything you can fit in the bag. See store for complete details.
Save big money at Menards.
Oh, wow.
Incarceration, America's rock, metal, and tattoo festival returns this summer with Limp Bizkit, Disturbed, Bad Omens, plus Gojira, Papa Roach, A Day to Remember, Motionless in White, Ice Nine Kills, Cypress Hill, The Used, and so many more. Incarceration at the Ohio State Reformatory, July 17th to 19th. Passes on sale now at incarceration.com.
At Babs R Us, we believe home improvement is life improvement. As the Midwest's fastest growing 5-star bathroom remodeler, we're more than just transformations. We're a community driven by a mission to bring your dreams to life. Our installation team, part of the Babs R Us community, isn't just skilled. They're dedicated to respecting your home. Each day, they bring craftsmanship and hustle, turning your dream space, no matter the size, into reality. Together, we embrace a culture that values diversity, collaboration, and giving back. From supporting local projects to fostering a workplace where every voice is valued. Babs R Us is more than a company. It's a community of experts. We're also expanding locations to create more possibilities for homeowners across the Midwest. Wherever you are, you'll find us ready to turn your dreams into something you can see, feel, and enjoy every day. Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement, or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel. Plus, low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BAB to schedule your free estimate, or go to babsrus.com. Babs R Us, where dreams soak in.
Planning to buy a home in 2026? Not sure where to start? The Ohio Housing Finance Agency can help. With a step-by-step homebuyer's guide and financial tools, the Ohio Housing Finance Agency can make homeownership part of your future. Eligible homebuyers may qualify for down payment assistance and reduced mortgage interest rates. To see if you qualify and to find a mortgage lender, visit myohiohome.org. Again, that's myohiohome.org. Homeownership. Make it part of your future. Sponsored by the Ohio Housing Finance Agency, aired by the Ohio Association of Broadcasters, and this station.
It's Timmy Hall and AI Common Man. Happy to ring in another year with our friends at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Hey, Mikey, do you want to be a millionaire? Hollywood is the place to do it.
From now until March 25th, you have the chance to win $1 million instantly. And here's something Mikey likey. All new brunch items at the Sportsbook Restaurant and Bar, like Biscoff stuffed French toast, country Benedict, or roast beef hash skillet. Yummy.
Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
It's a playoff Sunday doubleheader on The Fan. The Texans and Patriots kick things off at 2:30 with the Rams and Bears in the nightcap.
Sponsored by Roosters, a fun casual joint.
Your radio home of the NFL, The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Once there was a man who couldn't stand.
A mom who couldn't wait.
A scientific community that said it couldn't be done.
And then you.
And then I.
And then we brought neuromuscular disease into screaming color with the Muscular Dystrophy Association.
For 75 years, our voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
We've willed the impossible into existence.
We've pushed the science,
Raised the funds,
shifted the narrative,
and transformed the reality of life with neuromuscular diseases.
For 75 years, we've built communities together.
established the field of neuromuscular medicine,
and made it thrive.
Call that a legacy,
Call it impact.
Call it momentum.
just call it ours.
because it's the generations of community heroes that give MDA the strength we have today.
And until neuromuscular disease is a thing of the past, you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
Being diagnosed with leukemia, lymphoma, myeloma, or one of over 100 other types of blood cancer makes people want more time to do the things they love. That means more time to be artists, prom dates, world travelers, and moms. We are Blood Cancer United, the world's leading organization focused solely on blood cancer research, support, and advocacy. We do the most for more people with blood cancer, so people with blood cancer can do more of whatever they want. Blood Cancer United. Join us at bloodcancerunited.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
It's going to be a chilly one for us today with high temperatures in the low to mid 20s today. We'll have a mix of sun and clouds and wind chills staying in the teens for the most part. It'll be blustery with gusts up to 20 miles an hour. Some areas of light snow are possible overnight. Looks like less than an inch. Not a big impact there, but heading into Monday, it is going to be a cold one. Temperatures fall through the teens throughout the day with a gusty wind up to 30 miles an hour with any light snow ending early. I'm meteorologist Justin Gertz with your 10 weather impact forecast.
We test marketed naming the show A Guy and His Butlers.
Oh, that is very touching.
But we thought Bishop and Friends had a better ring to it.
Weekday mornings at 9.
The Fan. You're listening to The Fan. It's Sunday. We're a sports station, and we shall call it Fan Sports Sunday.
I am so sorry for what's about to take place.
We have to move on, Cole.
But you can't just say... Isaiah?
I poked the bear the whole break and then just want to move on.
Actually, we were having fun making fun of other people during the break, and then he pivoted to making fun of me. All right, Isaiah, you need to be the honest third-party arbitrator. Okay, so here's what happened during the break. And for those of you who are just tuning in, we spent probably 2.5, if not a full 3 segments discussing whether or not Curt Cignetti is the best coach of college football. And then it pivoted midway through. I said, if Ohio State fans are being 100% honest with themselves, they would rather have Curt Cignetti than Ryan Day. That's what I said. And so we put that segment to bed. Last segment, we talked about Kevin Stefanski going to the Falcons, whether or not Isaiah, who's a big Browns fan, whether or not he's going to miss Kevin Stefanski. We talked about, we didn't talk about it. We can mention it now. The interesting perspective as, like, from the outside, Kevin Stefanski was like, because you know how the Browns are viewed. Like, I'm not trying to beat you up, Zeke, but it's like the perspective of Kevin Stefanski outside of Ohio is, man, if you can win Coach of the Year twice with the Browns, like, then you're unbelievable. So that's how everybody else views him. So as much as Browns fans, not you, because you always had his back, as you claim, but as much as Browns fans kind of had his back, that was... everywhere else he's like, man, if you could do that with the Browns, imagine what you could do for us. So we talked about that last segment, so we did put it to bed. But Dane says to me in the break, he goes, by the way, and again, we were making fun of other people, and so we were having fun, laughing, we had an alliance for a brief moment, and then he just completely turned on me. He goes, hey, by the way, I've been thinking about your take, and the more I think about it, the more egregious it is. So I need you to be the honest third-party arbitrator. Have we beaten the Curt Cignetti thing into the ground? Or do you think it would actually be interesting if we hear why Dane, what extra thoughts he has on that about Cignetti versus Ryan Day?
I think that we should hear that with you two in between the next break.
So that's a no.
That's a no.
It's a hard no.
Hey, that's fine.
That's why you're here.
I want honesty.
I am.
That's exactly what I said.
My job.
That's exactly what I said. It's like, this has to move on. I just want you to know it was egregious. And then it went on air. It was like, okay.
But look,
get how pissed he got.
It
was a mean move. Literally, we were going on. And I was like, by the way, it's an egregious thing. Okay, and here we go.
NFL. Are we doing NFL now?
Yeah.
And we're off. All right, so we'll go back to the NFL. 'Cause we beat that topic to death. We can address that later. If we can remember, I'll put that on my notes, and me and Josh can talk next week about if Ohio State fans would rather swap Ryan Day for Kurt Cignetti. Hypothetically, not in real life because that won't happen.
Yeah, we'll be at a bar around the corner after if anybody wants to join us for the fist fighting.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so the Browns are looking to move on from Kevin Stefanski, who we told you is in ATL. He was the second domino to fall. So the AFC's North trash is like everybody else's treasure. So John Harbaugh, as I messed it up last week, where we were trying to play matchmaker, and Dane, you'll get a kick out of this. So last week, I was kind of laying out like, all right, who are the best coaching candidates and who are the best teams? And it's funny how John Harbaugh is like everybody's number one choice. And evidently he chose the Giants, so the Giants were his number one choice, we assume. So I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, the Ravens have the best opening right now. They got the most talent, they have the highest ceiling, so they are the best job right now. John Harbaugh is the best candidate. I think John Harbaugh should go to the Baltimore Ravens. And then I realized that's not going to happen. And then Zeke heard what I said, and he gave me this look, and I'm like, wait a minute, I think the Ravens just fired him, so I don't think he's going to be going to Baltimore.
I don't think he's going back.
No.
We thought about it, and you're the best candidate.
Exactly. So everybody else wanted Kevin Stefanski as their number one choice, and we discussed that in the previous segment, until John Harbaugh came around. So all of our trash in the AFC North, and trust me, I've been hearing for years in Pittsburgh, oh, do you know how many teams would line up to sign up Mike Tomlin to be their head coach? Do you know what you'd be losing if he weren't your head coach? So whenever he becomes comfortable with the idea of coaching again, he will be highly sought after. So while everyone else is kind of picking up the scraps, or the sloppy seconds, if you will, of the AFC North, we got to figure out who's coaching the Browns. So they got their first candidate who they were pursuing for a second interview is someone who, as much as I like him, I don't think is a good fit. And that's Jim Schwartz. So they got a couple round 2 interviews coming up. They will also be interviewing for a second time Nathan Shieldhouse, which that's got to make you feel a little bit old because he was the quarterback at Illinois seemingly not that long ago. But
no way, yeah.
So he would have been the quarterback at Illinois, I think, as late as 2013. So I believe Joshua Perry played against him. He is currently the pass game coordinator, and he's a young candidate. So he's not going to be getting head coaching jobs. This is going to be, I mean, actually, he's a McVay disciple, so who knows? But as of right now, Shieldhouse is getting a second interview with the Browns, as will be, I believe, Grant. I don't know how to pronounce this dude's name, but the Jaguars OC, Grant Udinski.
Udinski, yep.
All right, there you go. But the first one who they scheduled for a second interview was their own defensive coordinator, Jim Schwartz. I do not like that. I have a strong principle that if you fire a coach, and let me know what you think about this. If you fire a coach due to poor performance, not from like any scandals, not because like it's college and they just left for another job, not because they hit free agency, although if you hit free agency in the NFL as a head coach, the fact that they didn't extend you is kind of a firing in and of itself. But if you fire a head coach because of wins and losses, I don't care what sport it is, I am not promoting from within because I question how much can possibly change if you have a very similar coaching staff to the year prior.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Okay.
That's always seemed strange to me. And unless it's always a guy you've liked, but in the NFL particularly, like you don't have there's nothing holding you back if you always wanted Jim Schwartz to be the head guy. I mean, you would have tried to make that move earlier. So I can see like shifting around coordinators, but at the head spot, I'm with you. I don't know how much you could expect to change by just promoting from within.
And then the second reason that I didn't like that, as I try to find my Jim Schwartz notes in here. Oh, the defensive-minded head coaches. I think it's a bit of an overstated talking point that, you got to have the offensive mind. That's what everybody's doing. The game's going to offense. You got to have an offensive mind. I think that's a bit overstated, but I'll give that argument some credence here. I think hiring a defensive-minded head coach is perfectly acceptable if you have your quarterback already established. I don't think it's a great idea when you're going to have a quarterback competition of Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders next year, which basically means you're drafting a quarterback in 2027. I don't think it's a great idea to have a defensive coordinator or defensive-minded head coach then, because what that means is as you are trying to break in a rookie quarterback and develop him over time, you are running the risk that if you are successful, your number one offensive mind, your offensive coordinator is available to get poached to be head coaches elsewhere. if you are going to be developing an offensive, if you're going to be developing a quarterback, I think the best way to do that, a young quarterback in the league, is to have one voice on offense leading the way. So I think having an offensive-minded head coach is a good thing specifically for young quarterbacks. I don't care if they're established. Matt Stafford, I don't think it matters. Offensive-minded head coach, defensive-minded head coach, whatever. Aaron Rodgers, don't think it matters. Kirk Cousins, he's been in the league forever. Don't think it matters. For a rookie quarterback, I kind of want to keep the consistency because I don't want to end up with a Baker Mayfield situation where I have a quarterback and he's 9 years in the league and he's never had the same play caller for back-to-back. Or that's actually not true. But he's 9 years in the league and he's had 9 different play callers.
Yeah, unless you're thinking you're just mailing it in on the offensive side. And I use that loosely because anybody you get, you're still going to have pros over there that can make plays. But if you're saying, okay, we're the Browns, our identity, if we're going to win games, is going to be win them on defense, and offense is a bonus. I mean, I don't think that's it's not a balanced approach, and I don't think they'd go to the media and say, yeah, we don't really care about that side. But if you're saying, hey, if we can be good, really good at one, and we can be a team that's like our identity is defense, and maybe in a year or two we start to get hot or strike gold or draft a quarterback or whatever it is and pick up the offense, we'd rather have this side because it's the low-hanging fruit. Maybe. I mean, I've always looked at the Cleveland job itself is such a unique one, and that's another reason why I wouldn't think like Schwartz is
in that
the
you're
hire.
Cursed?
In a way, yeah. In a way, and not like more that it like is a it doesn't seem to follow the typical logic of success in the NFL. Like Jim Schwartz is an old hat coach, been around, been head coach, been coordinators. Like, what would you think like is going to be unique about Cleveland that this is where he succeeds, as opposed to like a boom or bust type candidate? Like, this could be really good. Like, I feel like Cleveland taking risks, what does it hurt? You know, like if it's one of these young guys, like what if it's Shieldhouse? Maybe you just struck gold with some guy that he's a brand new thing. People can't figure him out. And you've hit on this notoriously tough organization to coach for. And you just ride this wave because the organization's not changing, right? I mean, it is what it is. And the same old, which I think like Jim Schwartz would kind of represent that piece of the NFL, like the old hat NFL, seems to land you where you've always been. Does that make sense, Isaiah? I mean,
100%. It doesn't feel like if the Browns are going to turn it around with the organization how it is, which is right now, Andrew Berry is the GM, Haslam's are still in charge, you can't run back what hasn't worked before. And Jim Schwartz feels like what hasn't worked before. And so I like your idea of moving on to something that's new, because if you are going to turn it around, it has to be different. It has to be like Curt Cignetti hitting the perfect ball on the head with the transfer portal, probably being good for like 2 or 3 years and then eventually falling back to their Indiana reality. But besides the point, you got to be able to figure it out.
Look who's relapsing over here.
Now it's time for a break.
That was a shot at Cole. That it is. But no, I've always seen like the Browns in that realm, and that at the end of the day, when you're talking about football teams and these decisions on coaches, you're talking about ownership and GM level stuff. You're talking about like the business organization. And if that hasn't changed, which it hasn't, it's like, okay, what does a good fit in Cleveland look like? It's a unique job. What does a good fit in Dallas look like? These are unique jobs. So I'm all for taking a unique shot.
I covered the Ohio State basketball game yesterday, and I missed out.
I can't wait for this. I haven't watched it yet or heard it.
I missed out on the opportunity of a lifetime yesterday. We'll talk about that next. Stick around. 97.1, 2 minutes.
Below freezing? Fire up the grill at Billiards Plus. The grilling season never ends. While you're grill shopping, you'll love browsing Central Ohio's largest selection of pool tables, game furniture, and shuffleboard. Family owned and operated. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Your mornings are jam-packed. So if you're going to add anything, make it your favorite bite from Tim Hortons. Buy any size beverage and add a daily baked donut for $1, a tasty bagel for $2, or a freshly cracked hot breakfast sandwich for just $3. It's the best way to add more to your morning. The 1-2-3 menu, only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants, must ask for offer in restaurant. Tax extra exclusions and terms apply at timhortons.com/offer-terms.
Hey Central Ohio, it's Andrew from Home Team Solutions, and yes, we buy houses for cash the easy way. We've been buying houses for over 20 years and we've seen it all. Whether you've inherited a property, you're behind on payments, the house needs work, or just want to avoid the hassle of listing, we've got you covered. No repairs, no clean out, no stress, just a fair cash offer and you pick the closing date. We've helped hundreds of homeowners sell fast and hassle-free, and we're proud to have 5-star reviews all across Central Ohio and an A+ rating with the BBB. If you're ready to sell your house the easy way, call Home Team Solutions at 614-962-SELL. That's 614-962-7355, or visit us online at selltohometeam.com. Home Team Solutions, local, trusted, and family-owned. Again, that's 614-962-SELL. 614-962-7355 or selltohometeam.com.
We got a higher home appraisal after we put away our African art and family photos.
Has this happened to you because of race or national origin? Contact HUD at hud.gov/fair housing. A message from HUD and the National Fair Housing Alliance.
Matty Ice has a large tattoo on his calf of LeBron eating a lion. I have nothing else to say. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan. Coffee? These guys don't need coffee. They're jacked on life. And Buckeye football. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
Cole Bartemes, Dane Sanzenbacher, Isaiah Jacob. Buckeye basketball with a win against UCLA, so now they are both 4-3 in the conference. That was yesterday. I went to the game yesterday with the excitement. I was actively rooting for Ohio State in a way that I don't usually do, but I was, because more importantly, I wanted UCLA to lose, because I wanted to go into that press conference and see the rarest of rare forms that Mick Cronin could possibly offer. So after the game, we go into the press conference room, and I'm sitting down. I'm like, man, usually the away coach usually goes first. So I'm sitting there thinking, like, man, usually the coach is in here by now. Like, where's Mick? Because they'll go UCLA coach, or as I was expecting, UCLA coach, Buckeye players, Jake Diebler. That was the order that I was expecting. So we were running a little bit late, I felt like, on Mick Cronin. Maybe he's just, ripping his team a new one. And then Gary Pettit, the SID for Buckeye basketball, comes in and says, hey, Mick's out there just doing a one-on-one with the guy from the LA Times. And so we'll have Devin Royal and Junie Mobley coming in a second. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So I was so looking forward to watching Mick Cronin explode, except when you have these weird conferences where you have a Los Angeles team playing in Columbus, there's only one UCLA reporter actually there, and it's a bunch of Columbus media. And so Mick didn't feel the need to take a bunch of questions from a bunch of Columbus media members, or maybe someone else arranged that, whatever. But at any rate, I'm like, I missed this. So I was ticked off because I wanted to see Mick Cronin in his rarest form. And fortunately, we have the audio now. And so we'll play this. This is from yesterday. This was just a one-on-one. So this definitely wasn't my question because I wasn't there. But whoever it was from the LA Times got some great Mick Cronin audio after Ohio State. Whoop.
Highly disappointed in getting our ass kicked physically and our inability to play defense.
What can be done?
I offer no excuses. You blame me. Blame me. I recruited them. I signed them as free agents. We're not going to win meaningful games if we can't stop the other team. I'm not going to have much to say, so I'm going to give it to you. Okay. You can't give up plus 80 and win on the road. You're not going to get 90.
Yeah.
Can't do it. So we scored 74 points on the road in the Big Ten. You should have a big time shot to win. Our defense is an embarrassment today. Last couple games it was great. Today we couldn't guard them. We had plenty of time to get ready and talk about it. Problem is we didn't have anybody who could guard Thornton or Mobley. We'd have nobody, in my opinion, we didn't have anybody interested in rising to that challenge. We had nobody interested in rising to the challenge defensively. Everybody wants somebody else to get the dirty work. We're a team that struggles to have dirty work guys.
Blame me. I recruited them. I signed them as free agents. I mean, you talk about backhanded. That's unbelievable. That's what I missed. I went to the game yesterday looking forward to that, something like that. And Mick Cronin gives it to a one. Congratulations to whoever the one UCLA reporter was from Los Angeles that was there. I mean, that was just awesome. I saw this and I only saw the caption on Twitter. And then once I opened the video, it's like, are you going to give it like the minute and a half worth of time that it requires? that was everything I could have asked for and more. Blame me. I recruited him. It's my fault that I have terrible players who have no dog in their heart.
Yeah, it's like, blame me, they suck.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like, he said blame me, but then took no responsibility.
I know. It was the best audio ever.
Blame me. They were not interested in playing defense.
Okay, and then here's the hilarious thing about it, though, because I also just stumbled into this audio. And so this also would have been a college basketball game from yesterday. So I don't need to give you all the X's and O's about it because, first of all, I don't know them because I didn't watch the game. But UConn played Georgetown yesterday. So Georgetown loses a game to a really good UConn team. Georgetown is now 9-9 overall, and they're now 1-6 in the Big East. I want you to take what you just heard from Mick Cronin at UCLA, and I want you to compare that to Ed Cooley, Georgetown's coach. They are 1-6 in the Big East, and you tell me if there's any similarities or differences between what you're hearing.
Coach, I know it's been a challenging season, but this team has played really hard the whole time.
Oh man, have we played hard?
And has never quit. How have you been able to get the team to do that?
I think it's the character of the group. I think it's really the character of our men. Not giving up, not woe is me, not feeling like, okay, it's not the end of the world. This is what I do feel. We're blessed to do what we do. Like even walking around, we've lost 4 or 5 games at home in a row in the Big East. That sucks. It does. End of the day, we have our health. We have our families. We're very fortunate to do what we do. So when you're having a season like this, lean into what we appreciate. I appreciate being a coach here. I appreciate being able to tell people I thank you and come on, let's keep fighting together. We're all in this together. Our community's in this together. It's a lot worse happening than Georgetown losing a basketball game around the world, around our city, around our community. I'm not trying to deflect anything, but my appreciation and gratitude to have an attempt to coach these young men to be better at what we do is an unbelievable honor. Unbelievable honor. Yeah, we lost. Folks, wow, we're this, we're that. You know what we are? We're blessed. We're blessed to be 9-9. We're blessed to be 1-6 in the league. Do we like it? No. But when you see us fighting like that, that's a lot to be proud of as the coach.
Can there please be a middle ground?
What is going on? Like these, that is that's on the opposite end of strange.
I know.
So we got. Well, we know, Ed. We know there's more going on in the world. It just so happens we're doing this interview because you're a head basketball coach. So we're going to talk about the basketball if you don't mind.
Okay, so Mick Cronin is trying to light a fire under his team's ass after they played what he thought was a soft game against Ohio State, and Ed Cooley. Dude, there's got to be some sort of middle ground.
Blessed to be 1-6 is the ultimate clippable. I know you're like a big clip guy. Like
that's going to be a clip.
We're blessed to be 1-6.
We're blessed to be 1-6 in the
fan base
league.
has just got to be like, huh?
That is what we got right now in college basketball, and it's amazing. And look, we're watching TV, folks. This is entertainment, and so I appreciate whenever somebody says something that I don't necessarily like or agree with. I at least have to say, hey, thanks for giving us something interesting to talk about. Mick Cronin, thank you. I wouldn't want to play for you, but thank you so much. I don't have to play for you. Thank you for all the entertainment that you gave me yesterday. I wish I saw it face-to-face, but you only did a one-on-one, and I was wishing you went in the press conference room because I would have been there for you. I would have had 0 questions for you, but I would have just enjoyed it and probably laughed. So that would have been unprofessional. But either way, thank you very much for everything that you brought. Ed Cooley, thank you for that. I thought that was totally ridiculous. And maybe I would want to play for you. That was kind of like a soft attitude, but maybe that's what he feels that the team needs right now.
Yeah, kind of nice. It started off really well, but he just doubled down on
I don't want to deflect, but we have our health. Like, are you freaking kidding me, Ed Cooley?
Yeah, we lost the game, but I mean, think about what's really going on in this world.
At least we have our
At least we have our all right. Hey, Ed Cooley, I would want to play for you. I don't know if you'd maximize my abilities because it kind of sounds really soft.
A little bit more pleasant, it sounds like.
I'd have a good time being there. I'd rather play for you than Mick Cronin, but both you provide me a level of entertainment in 2 completely different ways. Thank you very much. Hey, the NFL playoffs are going on. We'll talk about that next. And who in the world is going to make the Super Bowl? Who's healthy in the NFL? We don't even know. We'll try to get to the bottom of that. That's up next. One more segment. Stick around, Fan Sports Sunday.
If you consider yourself a Buckeye fan, you've come to the right place. This is your heritage sports talker and home of Ohio State Athletics, The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
I wish I'd gotten treated for my erectile dysfunction sooner. Men, I hear this all the time from our patients. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if ED is a problem in your life, resolve to get it treated today. and stop having it affect you and the one you love. ED is simply a medical condition, and it's fully treatable. And at Tri-State Men's Health, we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most guys, your ED will be a thing of the past. In fact, you could be having great sex within a day or two of your first appointment, and you'll likely find you're performing like you haven't in a long time. It's the new year. Resolve to get your ED treated and change your life. Call us at Tri-State Men's Health. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. That's tristatemenshealth.com. We have 2 convenient locations in the area to serve you in Hilliard and Westerville.
My advisor at Plant Moran Wealth Management knows my definition of wealthy. Restoring classic cars. You tinker under the hood, put the keys in the ignition, and then the moment of truth. There's nothing like it.
You have your own personal definition of wealthy. Plant Moran Wealth Management knows it takes a personal approach to get you there. Experience the difference with Plant Moran Wealth Management. Book a consultation today.
New year, new you, new truck from Germain Toyota of Columbus, and the deals are built tough. Drive home the all-new 2026 Toyota Tacoma with 2.99% financing for up to 48 months. Need more muscle? The 2026 Toyota Tundra delivers with 2.99% financing for up to 72 months, or take $3,000 in customer cash. Germain Toyota has the truck and the deal you've been waiting for. Shop today at Germain Toyota of Columbus, where selection, value, and trust come standard. Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road.
I always tell people I was the luckiest guy in the world. I wanted to be an Army man or a fireman, and I got to do both. As a firefighter, my job was about saving lives. I never thought one day I would be fighting for mine.
After spending his career answering the call to save others, Ken was diagnosed with ALS. Now he's facing his biggest battle, for more time. For 70 years, Muscular Dystrophy Association has been answering the call to help people live longer and more independent lives.
MDA means to me hope.
MDA is leading the way for people living with ALS, muscular dystrophy, and other neuromuscular diseases by accelerating research, advancing care, and advocating to empower families like Ken's.
I wouldn't be living as good of a life with ALS if it wasn't for MDA. MDA is helping people live stronger and love longer. Learn more at mda.org today.
The Jackets are back at Nationwide for a battle with the Senators. Live fan coverage starts Tuesday night at 6:30.
Sponsored by Atlas Butler Heating and Cooling.
Proud to be your flagship home of the Columbus Blue Jackets, The Fan.
They're trained. They're prepared.
Let's do it.
They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-444-2013. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-444-2013. That's 800-444-2013. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013.
How serious is youth vaping? Irreversible lung damage serious. 1 in 10 kids vape serious, which warrants a serious conversation from a serious parental figure like yourself. Not the seriously know-it-all sports dad or the seriously smart podcaster. It requires a serious conversation that is best had by you. No, seriously, the best person to talk to your child about vaping is you. To start the conversation, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Take the Fan with you wherever you go with the Fan app. Download it now, or we'll find you. You bring your lunch money today? Good, give it to us. This is Fan Sports Sunday.
Fan Sports Sunday. We got, 8 more minutes left of the show, and then we will flip over to Texans-Patriots coverage. Kickoff for that one will be at 3 o'clock, but apparently we got some pregame coverage heading into that, so that's cool. Cole Bartemes, Dane Sanzenbacher, Isaiah Jacob. NFL playoffs going on. So we had 2 yesterday. We had Buffalo and Denver. I don't want to hear a damn word about the refs screwing Buffalo. They played a reckless game with 5 turnovers. That was an interception, whether you like it or not. But even if you don't feel that wasn't an interception, where this is kind of like turning into the whole Dez Bryant, was it or was it not a catch at this point? But the rolling over, did you see the play that we're talking about? Where Isaiah, I don't know how you felt in the moment. I was watching that game. I was out, and so I was watching that without volume. Thank God I didn't want to know what Tony Romo was saying during that. But I was watching that without volume, just watching replays. It looked like a clean pick to me, because if the receiver had lost control of the ball and at that exact same timing of the roll and just let go of the football, I think that'd be ruled an incomplete pass. And so if we have that exact scenario, except the ball gets ripped away by the defender with the exact timing of the roll, it should be an interception. So I don't like all this. And this is another thing that we do in this generation. All this like screenshot refereeing that's going around where it's like, hey, they take a screenshot of a specific moment in the play and you can see, oh, his knee's down and he has the ball. That's possession. That's a catch. It's like, well, watch the video and try to make the same argument, because when you watch it, it looks like an interception. So whatever. At any rate, you turn the ball over 5 times. Buffalo's got to be sick to their stomachs right now, because they've been hitting their head on the exact same ceiling over and over and over, except this time there's no Chiefs to get in the way. There's no Ravens to get in the way. There's no Bengals to get in the way. And so I actually kind of question, is Sean McDermott at a point where we could see a 10th NFL head coaching job opening up? Because at some point, and I liken this, I guess, to be what the Yankees did when they moved on from Joe Girardi and went to Aaron Boone as their manager.
Would that be your new number one? I know the others are filled now, but that's got to be above the Ravens' job as far as desirable places.
They're definitely, it's competitive. Ravens and Bills would definitely probably be the first two off the top of my head, unless I'm forgetting somebody who was also really good at their job opened up. I don't think so. But I'm saying don't rule it out. Not that, again, players play. Okay, Sean McDermott didn't go out there and commit 5 turnovers. His players did. His quarterback had at least one legit interception, no matter how you look at it. He had a completely reckless fumble. That was trying to play hero ball.
And that was even like...
Cost him 3 points.
That was like extreme. Whenever you play the game like Josh Allen does, it's like you're always walking that edge. And it looks and it works when it works, but that looked like when you're pressing it, that's like the equivalent of, Saquon Barkley hurdling a guy when it's not time to hurdle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, and it just gets ugly, because even they replayed that and was like, man, it wasn't even an attempt to protect the ball. It's like this is.
Oh, no, he was holding it like Vince Young did when he ran into the end zone against USC, just holding the ball down at his knee.
But in the middle of a bunch of
yeah, but running in the middle of the field and not towards the end zone.
Yeah, but he was clearly pressing to try to make those plays, and I don't think that's when he's at his best. But I think you're right. I mean, in those games, if a penalty or a situation like that, or a call by the referee becomes the thing, they can be really important. Obviously, they can shift the tide. I'm always in favor, one, of what's the eyeball test? Like what's the common sense? Forget what the technical rule. What did it look like to you?
Right.
And also in the spirit of the game, don't have it be a big shift. Don't have it bail a team out that didn't earn this position here.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yeah, I think you're right in saying turn the ball over that much, you play like that, there's more things than just one call.
I mean, if you make one fewer mistake, you're probably not even in that position. You made a ton. And overall, the box score for Josh Allen looks generally good, but situational football. So they should have been in a position where they were up by multiple scores in that game. But what do you know? You lose 33-30. San Fran goes to Seattle, Seahawks 41, 49ers 6. That game was a little bit too perfect for me. That's one game I don't know. See, I know that you think that I just like sway my opinions in the breeze and just, hey, Kurt Cidetti won a couple games. Like the best coach ever, I guess, as I literally just spit across the table at you. I'm sorry. But
that's you. No, that's you salivating. That's what that's called.
Okay. I think last night's game went a little bit too perfect for Seattle.
Yeah, what does that mean? Are you calling shenanigans?
No. I'm not saying any sort of like cheating or anything like that. No.
Okay.
But 41, like, I'm saying that's hard to replicate. I'm saying in an NFC Championship game, they're going to be playing against somebody, either the Rams or the Bears, whoever wins the day. It's going to be a good opponent. They were so dominant against San Francisco that I was watching that game going, like, everything. And it was good dominance. It was up front. It was everything I look for. It's up front. It's O-line, D-line. They were just moving San Francisco out of the way. It was beautiful to watch, actually. The final score wasn't great, but, I mean, they pummeled them. But I'm like, they made it look a little bit too easy to where I'm like, this isn't supposed to be that easy. The playoffs aren't supposed to be easy. Especially, I've been on the Rams since the beginning. They really gave me a scare with the Panthers game, so I kind of jumped off of them from a little bit to the Bills, and, well, I don't have anything left, so I guess I'm going back to the Rams. So if the Rams beat the Bears, I am not so sure that what we saw from Seattle is going to be so easy to repeat. That's a little bit too dominant. This is the NFL, man.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great take. That is rare in itself. You have to catch all the perfect scenarios. I think there's a piece of it, too, is like you get to this point it's one thing, regular season game. At the playoff, like when you're clearly, you got to think of what's at stake. Once you're already down by 20, your offseason is about to start. I mean, I have to, and I didn't watch the second half of the game, but I got to imagine there was a little bit of mailing it in there. But I think you see it at a lot of, it's much more common in basketball. Like you don't see this a lot in pro football, like these thumpings. But there's a thing, like especially in the NBA, teams know like when it's out of hand, you see those games get out of hand because they're like, all right, it's just not our night. And then it becomes like, okay, let's just get to the end of this thing. But then those same teams could play again and it'd be very competitive. So I'm with you in saying like, I don't know that you run that thing back. And I don't think that is proof of what is going to happen in the next round for Seattle.
Isaiah, Texans or Patriots?
I'm rolling with the Pats.
Okay. I don't care about the spread, by the way. This is the playoffs. We're just trying to win games. Who cares? Rams, Bears.
I am rolling with the Rams.
Okay, so we got Broncos, Patriots. Jarrett Stidham, by the way, is going to have to quarterback this AFC Championship game because Bo Nix broke his ankle on like the second to last play of the game, and it wasn't very noticeable. And so he's like walking around in the postgame and all that stuff. So I assume we all go Patriots to win the AFC. So, time is a flat circle. My childhood is back. And there we go. So we got that. We got Rams and Seahawks. Who we got? I go Rams.
Yeah.
Hawks.
All right, well, there you go. We got, depending on who you are, see ya.
T-Bone and Tyvis are everything you want in a delicious breakfast. Lots of empty calories, no nutritional value.
Weekday morning.